Hello, guys, and welcome to today's NWL broadcast. Today, we are going to be hosting you guys a level 29 3v3 tournament, which has a $2,200 Australian dollars prize pool to the winning team. Really shortly, we're going to be getting into the games, guys, and we're going to have Taco and the Reeds versus, I believe it to be Politics. Is who it's going to be. Yeah, it's going to be against Politics. So, Moran, I've got a page up in front of me right now, and I'm having a look at these compositions that they could potentially run, because I do see that Taco and the Reeds has a 4-man team roster, and so does Politics. So could you take a look at those for me and kind of break them down, potential comps that they could run, and let's speculate on who we think that the victors are going to be in this series today.
Well, I definitely think Taco and the Reeds is probably going to be running Hunter, Enhancement Shaman, Disc Priest. I don't really know if the Balanced Druid fits well into any sort of comp that they could be running. Balanced Druids are pretty good at 29, but in Arena, it's very difficult to put out any significant damage, especially since Politics is running with an Arms Warrior and a Red Paladin. So that Arms Warrior can just kick Star Surge casts. It's going to be very difficult for Pharaoh Lord to get any sort of damage off with his casted spells.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but at the same time, I was just having a look at this, and I want to speculate the idea of Balanced Druid Hunter, because I do believe at this level, correct me if I'm wrong, that you can get glyphs, which means you should be able to take the Solace glyph. So Hunters do have traps in the 29 bracket, running with that Disc Priest, and the Balanced Druid can spend a lot of time in cat form rather than just dishing out the Star Surge damage and still deal a significant amount of damage. So maybe they're going to look to play what we can relate to be like the jungle style composition that we see at level 100s, and try and adapt that to the 29 bracket. I think that's pretty viable.
Yeah, we could see that. I mean, my biggest concern if I was Taco and the Reeds is that the other team is running with 2 melee again, which will put a lot of pressure on I think the obvious target choice is the Boomkin. You could see this team from Politics training the Hunter, but I think the Hunter has slightly better mobility just because of post haste, and I don't think he's going to be using any frost traps. But I think if I were fancy, I'd be trying to use all my traps for freezing traps. But I think connecting on the Hunter is going to be significantly more difficult than connecting and locking down that Balanced Druid if they choose to run that. But again, I think they're going to be choosing to run with an Enhancement Shaman and a Hunter. Having those purges come out from the Enhancement Shaman is going to be a very difficult thing for Politics to deal with, since they are running a Disc Priest, and purging shields is really important. And having a second kick on your team, a ranged kick, is extremely important in Arena and could be the edge for Taco and the Reeds.
I think so too. I think that would be the best choice for them to play that Enhancement Survival Hunter Disc Priest choice. Because like you say, they are running the double melee, and Hunters they're pretty good at kiting melees in this bracket, especially. And they're not going to have a purge on Team Politics, so the Disc Priest is really going to be able to try and heal through a lot of that melee damage and those potential Rentics and stuff coming out. But let's just get straight into this game, guys, anyway, because we do have a pot. Both teams are ready. So we're going to get into this game, and we can actually take a look at what these teams are running.
And as predicted, I thought, they would be running with that Enhancement Shaman and Hunter, so that's what Taco the Reeds is running, and Politics is running that Red Warrior. So that double melee, I think, is really smart from Politics. It's just going to be... we're going to have to see how well they can deal with the Hunter CC and the 2 interrupts from this team on top of Taco and the Reeds.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see how this is going to pan out. I really am. I'm just looking at the potential CC chains and interrupt chains they can get for Team Politics. They have the Hodge available. They have the double kick. No, they have a single kick, sorry. They don't have the double kick. So maybe with a good Hodge kick onto Johnny Bravo, that's the way they're going to be able to score a kill here. And I think that the target of choice will be the Enhancement Shaman, but the game has begun, so let's get into this. The pre-shields are coming out now by both priests on either team. Both teams are kind of standing back a little bit at this point. No one wants to be the aggressors, really. The pet's going in there, but he does get dragged back there by Outgunned, and he puts some damage. He's going into here. But everyone, they're just kind of staying back, really, really defensive at this point, but the Hunter does push in. The Judgment does come out there. The Paladin is sitting hard, line of sight.
I think it's going to be very difficult for Fancy to land a trap because, normally at max level you have some sort of stun to facilitate those traps, but you don't really have this right now. So Fancy is just going to be looking to get a trap. He actually drops pretty low. looks like there's some decent damage going on to the Enhancement Shaman, which I would guess would be the target of choice from this team of Politics, since he is the easiest to stick on.
Yeah, for sure. Like, they're dumping so much damage out into bracket so bad. I did notice the trinket has come out from Donald Trump as well. But Benny Bro's dipping down so low now, 601 HP. Maybe going to get picked back up here. Blood Owl Silence coming out, and he does get top back off. Really, really well played there by Delayed. He managed to get that big heal out, but Taco and the Reets are not in a good state themselves. Bracket so bad, sitting down at 30% health, so much damage coming out. In execute range, the shield comes out by Johnny Bravo. Is he going to be able to survive here? The full penance come out, the hard casted heals coming out. Hit the full trap though, gets retaliated onto Donald Trump. Benny Bro is going to go down at this point, and he does go down. Wow, amazing plays there by Taco and the Reets. It looked like that they was going to get a lot of the pressure reasserted back onto them, but no, they turned that round with that full trap, with the trinket down on Donald Trump, and they managed to take the game through it at this rate. But it does look like they're looking to play on here. Delays popped his bubble. Maybe they're going to try and look for a 2v3 scenario. Moran, what do you think about that? Do you think this is possible?
Well, now that Donald B. Trump is stuck in that full trap, I don't think that's going to be possible. Good effort by Delayed, but I don't think he's going to be living through this. Excellent disengage by Fancy. He's actually running with, instead of post haste, he's playing with Roots, which is an interesting choice because Donald Trump can simply dispel the Roots, but it's a little bit of extra CC. If Donald Trump is forced to use his dispel on something else, Fancy could potentially root him out of line of sight from his partners. So that's an interesting talent choice. I didn't pick up on that immediately. I just saw it right now. And I think that's really smart. And actually that makes it easier for him to land traps. He can disengage, root the target, and then trap it off, assuming that Donald Trump doesn't have his dispel available.
Yeah, I completely agree. It is a wise talent choice to be able to root that priest in a position that he doesn't want to be in. But I do believe that you can dispel that root, if I'm correct. So he could dispel himself there easily. So maybe it's not the wisest choice in case Outgun does become the target of choice. But then again, against double melee, it can be a really good peel.
I wasn't paying too much attention. Do you know what Donald Trump trinketed?
He trinketed the first trap. Actually, it was when Bernie Pro was dipping down really low. You was concentrating a lot on him there, but I did see the trinket come out on the first trap instantly when there wasn't really that much pressure at that point. I do think that if Delay just tossed a little bit of an off-heal onto him, they could have held the trinket there. So maybe that was a miscommunication on their part by Team Politics. But the game is over, so we're going to get right out of this game and into the next game as soon as we can. So that's Taco and the Reets taking the first game in this first series today, to make that 1-0. I'm not sure, Big Moran. I think that the Politics, they're going to have a really hard time to turn this round at this point because there's so many interrupts and so much CC from the team of Taco and the Reets, and they're doing a really good job at just playing defensive until they have that trap available, cycling through the cooldowns of the enemy team, and they're just playing it near textbook perfect in regards to their goals and their timings. I think they're going to have a really hard time to actually get around and get some counter pressure, you know?
Yeah, and I did pick up on some interesting glyph choices from Hooligan. Not Hooligan, I'm sorry, Donald Trump. Hooligan is showing up on my UI from an old game a long time ago, so that's why I said Hooligan. Donald Trump. He is running with Aura Mastery glyph instead of, I would call it Shadow Word. I don't remember what the glyph is called, but it's when your Holy Fire does damage back to you. So, I mean, that's an interesting choice. I guess playing with Aura Mastery is a bit more consistent, but I mean, those traps are going to be what's winning the game for Taco and the Reeds. So if he can play with Shadow Word Death Glyph, he could potentially avoid a lot of those traps.
I completely agree. I think that the glyph's called Inquisitor Glyph or Glyph of Inquisition. Yeah. I'm not really sure. But I definitely agree. It's such the obvious choice because they have no stone burst or anything, you know, to be able to follow up the CC onto, you know, they're just going to try and do a free trap. So it's very easy to anticipate when that trap's going to come because I don't believe there's trap launcher in the 29 bracket either. So, you know, yeah, I don't think that it's a really good talent choice taking that Aura Mastery type glyph by the priest there, but we'll see. Maybe it's going to allow them to win a game at some point, you know, because if you pop that Aura Mastery and you catch a double or a single interrupt into that, then, you know, maybe it's going to be able to change the game for them. We'll never know, but we'll see.
Yep, and we might be replaying this game. I am queuing on I am queuing these games on my Resto Druid, my max level Resto Druid. So I was providing some healing with my Ysera's gift. That's just an unintentional bug. I wasn't trying to give an advantage to one team or the other, but there was some healing done from me that match. So we're probably going to be replaying this game. My bad. I completely forgot that existed. So
Wow. I had no idea that the spectator point of view would still provide the passives. Wow, that's insane. That's really good to note though. So yeah, just make sure that you unspec out of that. So what we're going to do, guys, we are going to go into a replay of that first match. I'm not going to say I'm afraid there because I think that's only fair. I mean, that's pretty just because the amount of healing that talent does, it heals like 15k or something. You know, I'm pretty sure it does.
well, the thing is, I'm on a level 100, so it's based off of my HP, and I have 362k HP. So I think every time it is ticking for like what 15k. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's an entire health bar and some more. So
Yeah, exactly. I think it's only fair that we get to play that again. But I do believe that we was on the losing team's spectating point of view, so it's going to make it even more difficult for them to actually take this game against Taco. So what do you think about that, Naran?
yeah, I was wondering why that game was pretty. I was wondering why the game went to like I don't know that long, and I guess because once the CC starts rolling from Taco and the Reeds, it's really difficult to recover from that, even with the Red Paladin off healing. You could see how much damage they were doing to that warrior with the Red Paladin off healing and the priest healing. He died through pretty much heals, or he was dying through heals many times during that game.
Yeah, for sure. So we're just getting into this game now, guys. And it looks like there's no composition changes at this point, which is really good. So I guess we'll just wait for the gates to open and we'll just see who can take it on this game. But we do have to note as well, this isn't the Grand Arena again. This is now Dalaran Sewers. And I do feel that for a Melee Cleave especially, it really plays into the strengths for them. But at the same time, playing this Beast Cleave kind of comp that Taco and the Reeds are playing, it's also kind of good for them as well. It's going to be harder for them to get CC, but they can pull back easy if necessary, drag the melee line of sight from Donald. So, I don't know. I'm not sure who this is going to play into favour to, but I do think it's going to help team politics to be able to stay together, stay grouped, and keep each other, keep each other alive, essentially,
Yeah, this is a bit more conservative map choice. I think if Hunters had Explosive Shot or Explosive Trap, it would favor the Hunter team. It'd be very annoying for that double melee to stick on to any target with that Explosive Trap. But since that's not the case, these pillars will give them a little bit more option to kite and line of sight while their healer gets CC'd. Donald Trump immediately triggering that trap, by the way, so he won't have his trinket up for the next trap. So if Fancy can land another trap, that will likely be either a kill or we'll see a lot of off healing have to come out from delayed.
Oh, yeah, completely. And Delay still has his trinket, which is really good here. So they're just going to be waiting on the next trap now. Outgun is just getting himself in a good position there, staying far away to ensure that he doesn't get swapped onto by this melee team. But Birdie Pro, he's taking like so much damage here, and he's maybe not going to recover. He does go down in that blanket silence that came out there by Outgun. Really well played. I think we was right about the passive talent that you had. It was kind of sustaining team politics because they were just taking so much damage from that enhancement and that hunter that they just couldn't out heal it. I don't know if there was like a scope proc or something at that point, but a lot of damage came out there, and Donald Trump, he was just pumping those flash heals into him at that point, but he still died through those heals. Maybe Delayed could have assisted there a little more with the flash heals.
Yeah, I mean, the warrior died when the priest wasn't in a CC, and I'm not sure if I agree with Donald Trump immediately trinketing that first trap. I think he could potentially eat that trap and just have the ret off heal, but of course there's going to be that enhancement shaman to interrupt the ret paladin heals. But if the enhancement shaman is forced to use his interrupt on those heals, that opens up the possibility for Donald Trump to just free cast heals, assuming that the hunter doesn't have their kick up.
Yeah, I do agree. It's going to be pretty difficult for them to get around that. Maybe the paladin should be bubbling the first trap just to get the heals off, because that's potentially where the weapon procs will come in at that point. Any attack power increasing procs like scope procs and stuff like that. They should be procking that early on in the fight when that trap comes out. And I'm presuming that Outgunned is going to be waiting for that scope proc so that he can go in that trap to guarantee that trinket and even still kill through it, Just like a
Yeah.
short interrupt onto the priest can actually score a kill in this bracket.
Yeah, I mean the priest didn't have a trinket for that arcane torrent, and his warrior just died in the duration of an arcane torrent. Fancy disengaged in there. It was a really good disengage. He silenced, I think, both the ret and the priest first when he secured that kill on the warrior. But again, I think it would be smarter if Donald Trump would try to just at least play with Glyph of the Inquisitor, simply because I think, being able to avoid those traps will really help you, especially in the long game. But these games, appear to be pretty short. And the first game was longer because of the 15k heal I was providing the team. But if these games, the longer they go, the more powerful the Glyph of Inquisitor becomes, and the less powerful Glyph of Shadow Magic, or whatever the Arm Mastery Glyph is called, becomes. So, that's just something looking forward.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, he's also a night elf, you do have to note, so he can even meld the traps, though he's not playing with the Glyph of the Inquisitor right now. So he has. So if he played with Glyph of the Inquisitor, he'd have 2 buttons he could press to potentially avoid that initial trap when all of the procs are up from Team Taco and the Reach. So I don't know. I just think that they need to kind of step up the game, maybe anticipate the traps coming a little more and do something to react to it. Maybe have his team stack on him to prevent the trap from coming. It's a 1 in 3 chance at that point then that the trap could land on someone else. Oh, I'm just sorry, guys. I'm just being told now that there actually isn't going to any enchants. It's in the ruling that enchants aren't allowed, so I wasn't aware of that. So I'm sorry about that. But even so, without having these enchant procs and stuff like that, because if they did not have them, that's what they'd be saving the trap for to go with. But they are banned in this tournament. So even so, it's just like getting that right time, when the position's good to get that trap off and then just unload all of the Hunter's Focus and the Warrior's Rage and abilities at the same time.
I wasn't. It seemed like Politics was on the back foot that entire game. Do you know who their target was primarily throughout that game?
I do believe that the target in the last game it was bracket so bad because Outgun was positioned in a really, really good spot, really far away, but in a position where he could just go in a couple steps and use the disengage to peel, for the whatever it's called, the narrow escape talent that does root the melee and stuff like that. So he was in a good position. They couldn't really afford to come off the pillar because that would allow Outgun to very easily disengage over to the priest and get a full trap anyway. So they was trying to stay huddled. I think he was trying to eat the trap before they could go. It's either that or they were just kind of panicking, not sure as to what that they should go on at this point. Maybe they were just very undecided. I'm not too sure, Moran.
If I was Politics, I would try to be training this disc priest on Taco and the Reeds. Outside of spectral guys, it's very difficult for the disc priest to get any sort of distance away from those melees, and he's going to be if the warrior's playing with Warbringer stun, the ret's obviously going to be playing with Hodge. Doesn't have any other choice. And if they just can connect on Johnny Bravo, it's going to be very difficult for Johnny Bravo to deal with that damage. But we'll see who the target choice is.
I do agree, and it looks like the target of choice right now for Taco and the Reeds is Bernie Bro, and a ton of damage is coming out to him here. But not much is going on at this point. But Bernie Bro actually is dipping down kind of low, dumping out the Mortal Strike. Full trap comes out onto Donald Trump. He's trying to hold his trinket, but he does have to trinket at that point. That's not good for Team Politics right now, but it looks like Bernie Pro potentially is going to stabilize here. He's in battle stance. I don't agree with this choice here. He is in battle stance, trying to counter pressure onto Bracket so bad, but not really getting a lot of damage out, not really exerting any pressure. Narrow escape comes out there by Outgun. So much damage going to Donald Trump on the hard swap, and Donald Trump just go down. Wow, I don't even know what happened there. Was that a blanket silence, Moran? Did you catch that? That was insane. That was actually insane. We're just going to take a look at that on the replay, guys. And by the looks of things, it would seem like the target of choice was Birdie Pro. And all of a sudden, this hard swap just gets swapped over to Donald, and he just gets 100 to 0 within less than 1.5 seconds. That was just crazy damage. And I believe that may have even been through a Power Word Shield as well. Moran, talk me through that. What did you see happen there?
Well, Fancy disengaged. He was able to root delayed, and so in that period of time, they swapped on the priest. And there's no way that the priest is going to be able to dispel his ret paladin while he's under that much pressure. I don't think that the enhancement shaman had his shear up. Fancy might have landed a kick on the priest because the Aura Mastery glyph, Aura Mastery had already been used by the priest following the first wind shear from the enhancement shaman. But really good swap by Taco and the Reeds. And this is exactly why I think that Politics should be training the Disc Priest, because it's very difficult. Even if the Disc Priest plays with Arm Mastery, that can be negated by simply Warbringer stunning the priest on their arm master heal. So I think Politics should be reconsidering their target choices. And if they are playing aggressive, with their trinkets, it seems like Donald Trump is trinketing the first CC that hits him. I think they should be more productive with that trinket and just try to establish some pressure on the Disc Priest, force the Enhancement Shaman to start off healing. I think that will really go a long ways for them.
I completely agree. I think in the opening they should just jump onto the priest and just kind of hope for the best, really. Trying to coordinate all the racials, the stuns and things like that, and just try and get that priest down in the opening part of the fight. But anyway, guys, I'm going to take you guys over to the challenge board right now and take a look at these brackets. So as you can see there, Taco and the Reeds take that series 2-0 and they progress into round 2. And if you guys have a look there, Zara Larson's fan club and Monopoly. Team Monopoly, they wasn't able to have everyone online tonight, so they instantly had to forfeit that series, which does put Zara Larson through into round 2 as well in the winning bracket. And as we can see there, Team Monopoly is in the lower bracket down there. But when the loser of game 3 comes out, they will instantly advance into losers round 2. And Politics is in losers round 1. And it's all going to depend on what could potentially be the next game, because I'm kind of sure that Gay Like Turbo versus Dumpster Babies is going to be the next game, and the loser of that comp will go down into the losers bracket to face Politics. So let me just have a quick check, guys, just to make sure if the teams are ready and just to double check which teams are actually coming up next. We shouldn't be very long now, guys, but we did have a little bit of an issue earlier. Because I do believe that the one player from Dumpster Babies wasn't online in time for his series, which means they have 15 minutes to essentially get someone online now. Well, not now. The time's already started. I think there's going to be about 7 minutes left. They got someone to get online, and then they will forfeit the first game. And if within 5 minutes the guy doesn't come online, the Dumpster Babies, they will forfeit their series and go down to the lower bracket, which they will be... they'll have additional time to get the guy online before they face Politics at a later stage of this tournament. So that's what we're looking at right now, guys. So potentially we might have to have a short interlude just to see if that is necessary.
What would be interesting about that series is it's a Windwalker. It's almost a mirror match. The team of Gay Like Turbo is playing Windwalker, Frost Mage, Disc Priest, and Dumpster Babies is playing Windwalker, Survival Hunter, Disc Priest. So two very similar comps. Just on paper, I think Dumpster Babies has a bit of a comp advantage. Survival Hunters are able to do significantly more damage than Gay Like Turbo, and I think it's going to come down to Gay Like Turbo being able to land counterspells. Counterspells are actually so important, which really came out actually in the level 19 Twin Cup Arena tournament last year. A lot of the games were decided based on the mage's counterspells, because it locks out the target, or it will lock out the healer for 7 seconds, I believe, 6 or 7 seconds, which is a long time to not have any heals available. So I think if Manny can get some good counterspells onto the healer on Dumpster Babies, I think that'll be the edge they need to win that matchup. But just on paper, I think Dumpster Babies has a stronger comp because of the on-demand damage they have from the Windwalker and the Survival Hunter. Those are two classes that do a lot of DPS, especially at this bracket.
I completely agree with you, Moran. But I was just thinking, I just want to speculate on and toy with the idea of this. Because Team Dumpster Babies, they are running that Windwalker, Survival Hunter, Disc Priest. They do have the trap available. They do have Fist of Fury. And they do have one interrupt ability, a counter shot. So maybe if they was to, when Manny decides to cast a poly on anyone at whatever point, they could lock him on the poly and then hit him with the Fist of Fury. And that should force a block because he can't blink. He'd be forced to trinket the first one, but potentially still would have to block, depending on whether Robbie manages to heal through the damage. So the second time round with no block, that could be game if they decided to play it that way. I'm not sure if there's going to be enough damage from the composition. I'm not sure because I'm not very experienced in the 29 bracket to be able to argue the terms of damage. But I do think there's some possibility there for a kill on the mage. But if it was up to me, I would probably go for a kill onto the Discipline Priest and put a trap onto the mage if I was Dumpster Babies. I think that would be the way I'd like to go about this. What about you, Maran?
Yeah, I mean, I think training the mage is a better target. I think it's the safer choice. Again, I like strategies that involve training healers, but it's really risky when there's a frost mage on the other team because then the frost mage will be free to cast polymorphs. So he can effectively lock the other team down by himself. And so if you shut down the mage, it is really difficult for that team to get any sort of momentum. And so, that physical damage that's going to be coming out from the Windwalker and Survival Hunter, I think that's going to be more than enough to keep Manny at bay and prevent him from getting any sort of CC out. And it's going to be a real nuisance for him the entire matchup if this team does decide to train him.
Yeah, I think so too. But we are into this game now, and the comps they are as they are on the website where we've been referring to. So it is going to be that Windwalker Hunter disc against that Windwalker Mage disc composition. Let's have a look here at Paperclips, which is the mage. He's rocking around 6k HP with the buff on. Don't You Hole, he's looking really low there at 4.3k HP. Maybe they could go for the kill on the Windwalker on Team Dumpster Babies, but I'm not sure. We'll just have to see, and let's get into this game. It looks like both teams are playing pretty defensive right now. Actually, it looks like the Gay Turbo, they are actually pushing in like super hard right now. A ton of damage is coming out onto skill shots. The Fist of Fury, the Trinket comes out there. And it looks like the poly is... I'm completely lost here, Moran. My screen has just like faded out. Can you take over for me, please?
Yeah, so Donut will reverse some pressure onto the Windwalker Monk on Gay Turbo, but skill shots is actually dying yet again. And I don't think, he doesn't have his Trinket up. So this next Fist will likely be the kill. Lupuki actually using Touch of Karma onto skill shots, so negating some of the damage done to him. And Paperclips is trying to land some polymorphs out. Skill shots is actually going to go down. I don't think, yes, it wasn't through any sort of CC, just died straight from damage. Manny didn't have Counterspell available, and Want to Buy Damage wasn't in a sheep, so that was just straight up damage that killed him. Really good Touch of Karma by Lupuki, and I don't think the team of Dumpster Babies reacted fast enough to that. I think they might have killed themselves with that Touch of Karma because it seemed like a lot of damage came out at once. But that's generally how that's kind of how I expected this matchup to go. A lot of damage constantly from that Windwalker Monk, and every Fist of Fury is going to be incredibly scary. And if you pair Fist of Fury damage with that Touch of Karma, it should be more than enough to kill a target through heals.
Okay, I am getting word that Robbie was using weapon enchants, so that he does lose that match, even though that Gay Turbo actually won. They are going to lose that match, but I'm just gonna. Well, this is what I'm being told, so let me just get a confirmation on that real quick by the tournament host. But that's how it's looking at this point, guys. The point is actually going to go over to Dumpster Babies, but we're just going to have to check that out real quick, and I'll give you guys an update. And I'm sorry about that. Like, my World of Warcraft window went down; it wasn't loading back up in that game. I kind of hit Alt Tab accidentally, and it was just having a bit of a problem. So I'm really sorry about that last game, by the way, guys. But they auto lose that match. That is correct. So that is Dumpster Babies. They are going to be taking that game, even though they ended up being the losers in that first game. So I'm just going to head over to the brackets right now and just change that so that Dumpster Babies is taking this series 1-0.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate way to lose the match. I'm sure he wasn't intending to use a weapon enchant. I think he just didn't notice. I don't know if you knew this, but I had there was some controversy with me in last year's Twink Cup tournament, the arena tournament, because I was using toys. So those toys are pretty dangerous. Pretty much on par with weapon enchants, if you ask me. So I definitely have some experience with cheating in arena tournaments. So I'm completely sympathetic for Robbie, poor guy.
Oh, for sure, them toys being treated as like the apparition from a spectral guise, kind of might have won you a game or two there, Moran. I don't know. I faced you in the last year's Twink tournament as well. A couple of sketchy things I think I remember seeing. But let's not go into that at this point. Anyway, and we are getting into the next game, guys. It is Ruins of Lordaeron. Gay Turbo versus Dumpster Babies. Let's see if the result is going to be the same around. What do you think? The Windwalker Mage Priest versus the Hunter Windwalker Priest. Do you think the result's going to be the same even without these weapon enchants? What do you think?
Well, again, I think it all depends on how much CC Paperclips is able to put out. If he's able to land, full CS and get some polymorphs on to want to buy damage, I think Gay like Turbo easily can win this matchup. But of course, just the raw damage coming out of Dumpster Babies is significant. And last game they did decide to go on the Windwalker Monk. Again, that was kind of an odd decision. The Windwalker Monk deciding to karma the damage, which ultimately allowed his team to win the matchup, if you ask me. But well, I guess they lost because he cheated or whatever. But again, I think it would be safer to go on the mage if I was Dumpster Babies.
I think so too. I think just like pushing him into a position where he can't be so aggro onto the enemy team's priest is the best option to play. But the damage does come out initially onto Paperclips. I think they have recognised that, and they are going to be actually making Paperclips as their main target of choice. Poly coming out to Don't You Hold does get dispelled up. Paperclips taking a ton of damage now. The blink does come out. He's trying to get a polymorph off right here. He does get a half poly onto Don't You Hold, and the dispel does come out. Skill shot's taking a ton of damage though, but so is Paperclips. Who's going to go down first at this point? No one's going to go down. Both of them going to recover. I do believe that the flash shields are being pumped out by Want to Buy damage onto skill shots. They are stabilizing right now. The CS has come out. I think that CS got fake casted as well. No, it didn't. That CS did land and Want to Buy damage. The guys is coming out for Want to Buy damage now. The pen has come out, stabilizing skill shots. Paperclip hitting into the Fist of Fury. Maybe the trinket comes out. And it does. It does come out on the next fist. This is going to be blocked, Big Moran. The full fist is coming out of the skill shots now. Maybe he's going to go down, but he does get picked back up, Moran. I don't know. This is a crazy game.
Yeah, this is crazy, and I do believe that Paperclips just had his counterspell juked by Want to Buy damage. Really good job by Want to Buy damage. Paperclips isn't really able to get much CC going out onto the healer on Dumpster Babies, and I think that's going to be what his team needs to secure a kill. Right now, I would be really worried if I was skill shots. This next Fist of Fury, he can't trinket, gets caught in the full fist. He's going to be taking a lot of damage. It looks like Want to Buy damage is able to heal him through that, so really good job by that priest topping his partner up.
The CS did come out by Paperclips, but the full fist comes out to him. He does manage to survive, but his Tyranny Trinket does come out there. And I think that was also the unused neck that came out there as well. Paperclip still sitting at 50% HP, getting picked back up. Really good job there. The snare coming out to Don't You Hold. Skill shots is still a target of choice for Team Gay like Turbo. And Paperclips is still the target of choice for Dumpster Boys. But Fist of Fury coming out onto skill shots, dipping down below 30% there. Almost into an exit.
And full CS on the Want to Buy damage, by the way.
Right out. And skill shots go down. Wow, the sustained damage was just enough. I do believe the CS came out at that point onto Want to Buy damage, and that just caused skill shot to go down. That was absolutely crazy. That was such a better performance by Team Dumpster Babies, and maybe the weapon enchant was partially to do with the reason why. The fact that they didn't have to compete up against that weapon enchant, because it does make such a big difference in this low-level bracket.
Yeah, and again, it's obviously very difficult for Paperclips to land CC onto the healer. It wasn't till pretty much it seemed like 2 minutes into that game before a polymorph was landed on the healer. But those counter spells are really what's going to be winning him this game if he's not able to land those polymorphs. So really good job getting that counter spell to secure the kill at the end of the game.
Yeah, it was a really good job. I think it was just at that point where it could have gone either way. If they'd have managed to get enough damage out to catch that block, the CS wouldn't have come out in time to CS the cast, which actually would have gone off to save the Hunter on Team Dumpster Babies. So it was just a matter of damage at that point, because you did see at the end there as well, the Frostbolt spam was coming out there by Paperclip, doing a lot of damage going in there, and it just managed to result in them taking that game as well. So let's just have a look at the brackets right now. So it is one either way, one to Team Gay like Turbo and one to Team Dumpster Babies. So this next game, guys, is going to be the deciding game to see who goes through further into the winner's bracket and who drops down to face politics in the loser's bracket round 1. Yeah, I've just updated the scoreboard now, guys, so you can take a look at that bracket there right now. So as you can see, there's just one game left to go in this series. I'm pretty excited, Moran. I'm not going to lie. This is a really good series just because of the amount of CC and interrupts that both teams can provide in this composition. It's pretty interesting. It's somewhat like a mirror match regarding how the DRs with the CCs work on either team. But obviously the polymorph is spammable from the mage team. But at the same time, the mage is a little more squishy in the sense that he hasn't got the mobility of the hunter to kind of kite the opposing Windwalker monk. So I think it's kind of balanced to a degree, but I kind of must like agree that the mage team, they're in slight favor at this point. Maybe it was just a map choice. It could have been the Ruins of Lordaeron with it being such an open map. It should be easy for the mage to get CC on a map like that. But yeah, they took the point, and I'm wondering who's going to take the next point going into the next round.
Yeah, the progression of these matches are really interesting with the Windwalker monks. It seems like every Fist of Fury is a cooldown or someone drops to below 20%. So these matches pretty much happen in waves. It's like watching like some like kung fu movie. Like every 30 seconds you get like this round of excitement with a crazy Fist of Fury damage combo. So it's I'm liking how these are playing out. It makes things a bit exciting. But again, a really good job by Manny being able to secure the kill last game with that counter spell. And I think that's going to be what this team needs to continuously win these games.
Oh, for sure. You cannot afford to be getting fakes on them counterspell casts, because if he gets fakes on them counterspell casts, it's an instant cast free full duration CC equivalent that he does land onto the enemy team. They could assert a lot of pressure. So many defenses can come out at that point as well, which then it could be followed up by a full poly, because it's like if it's not on DR, for example. So they can really assert a lot of pressure by landing them counterspells. So we can't afford to miss those. And because he caught that counterspell at the end of the game, that the priest from Team Dumpster Babies, he was just like screwed. He couldn't really do anything. I didn't see him try to reach out for a bandage though. Maybe he could have got in range for a bandage, because we do know that bandages at this level do heal a lot percentage of your HP. So it isn't like a final last resort kind of thing that you can resort to when you are hit on that CS, and it's going to be a make or break situation. So yeah, but what I do believe, guys, I'm just getting some word that there is some communication issues. I think there's some Skype issues for Team Gaylight Turbo right now. They're just fixing that up really quick, and they are almost ready to go. So we will be getting into this next game really, really soon. So just sit tight, guys. But actually, never mind. We are in the queue. We're good to go. And it looks like, guys, again, we are on Ruins of Lordaeron.
So that was the map pick by Dumpster Babies, which is a fairly interesting map pick. I guess it kind of makes sense. It's a bit more of an aggressive map choice. It's very difficult for mages to actually land polymorphs on this map. There is a lot of things that can be used as line of sight. There's of course the big tomb in the middle, and there's also those two tombstones on both sides of the map that the priest could use as a small pillar. So it's very difficult for paperclips to get any sort of CC out onto want to buy damage. So I think this map choice makes sense. It does, in my opinion, facilitate the strategy, I guess, of Dumpster Babies. But again, I just think the deciding factor in this game is going to be those counter spells, and whatever monk is able to land more Fists of Fury, or get the trinket quicker than the other monk, is going to be the team that is going to be favored.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't really agree more. So let's get into this game. The gates are open, and it looks like that Lupika is pushing really far in now. Line of sight, and his healer is taking a ton of damage now. He's at 24. Shield does come out, and he does manage to get picked back up, but the touch of karma comes out there as well. He just got over aggro in the beginning of this game, and I think that was a huge mistake to make. The Fist of Fury coming out now into Lupika as well. The damage does get healed through, so really good job there by Robbie Juana. He's dipping down now below 50%, still taking a ton of damage. I don't really know if they're going to get some counter pressure here. The full poly did come out onto Don't You Hold, but he does trinket that up. Skill shots, he's dipping down really low. He's on 1% HP, 4%, and he does go down. There was no Fist of Fury that actually came out onto him there, I don't believe. That I think we just got caught with a CS right there. Looking at the cooldown on Paperclip CS, I think that whole hard swap there onto skill shots just snowballed from that counter spell that came out. I'm really surprised that the game ended that fast.
There was a full polymorph onto Want to Buy Damage. He did trinket that, and then Manny was able to land a second polymorph, although there was a little bit of delay in between the first and second polymorph falling that trinket. But I think it was the polymorph actually that was the last thing to secure that kill.
I didn't quite catch that. I'm not going to lie, because I was so adamant that Team Dumpster Babies, that they had that under control at that point, because it was so dominant from the get-go, I didn't expect that whole hard swap to come out that early on, the counter spell into the full poly that got trinketed up, like you said. I think the Spectral guy did come out there by the healer from Team Dumpster Babies, and then he just got repolyed on that, so he didn't have enough time to manage to pick his his hunter back up, which resulted in him going down. And guys, that does mean that Team Gay Like Turbo does go through to the next round. So let's just take a look at the brackets right now. Gay Like Turbo and Taco and the Reets are all the way through into round 2 of this series, and Dumpster Babies has gone down to the losers bracket in the first round to face off against Politics. But that'll be a little later on tonight. I do believe that it will be Team Gay Like Turbo versus Taco and the Reets that will come up before then. But I think the next game that's actually going to come up will be Synergy versus me, myself, and Idiot. I think that's a little play on words there. I do believe that that's going to be the next game.
Yeah, Idiot's a really good player. He's probably my favorite player in the 29 bracket. So I would definitely give him the advantage in this matchup, especially since Synergy is running in this really weird spell cleave. They have Wizkey, Flynn, and Fail. Fail is playing a Destro Warlock. Wizkey is a Frost Mage. It's a very interesting comp choice. That's not something I would expect in a 29 tournament. But if they're able to chain any sort of CC onto the healer, onto Idiot, I think that will be what will decide the matchup. But again, I think Idiot's probably, if you're to ask me, I think he's probably the best player in this tournament. So if he just does a good job line of sighting, I think his team can easily just do enough damage to lock down Synergy.
I'm pretty interested because they are running with Idiot on that Restoration Druid. Now, in the 29 bracket, maybe you can enlighten me. Is the Resto Druid stronger than in the lower brackets, like the 10 to 19 bracket? Because I do know that Restoration Druids are so weak in the 10 to 19 brackets. And I did think that it would carry on into the 29 bracket. Has that changed with it in this bracket?
Well, here's the healing across the board. From my experience playing 29s and observing these games, healing in general is lower compared to health pools than it is at 19. At 19, Disc Priest can pretty much top someone in like 1 or 2 heals. That's not necessarily the case at 29. You pretty much have a health pool that is 2 times as big, but the healing doesn't get multiplied by 2 times from that level increase. So healing across the board seems to be a bit lower. But Idiot, I think he is the highest rated Resto Druid in the bracket, at least in the 2s bracket. I don't know how well it's going to translate into the 3s, but I'm sure he's a competent player, so I expect him to do pretty well.
I'm pretty interested to see how this is going to go. I'm not going to lie, because it does have the potential here. They can put a trap onto the priest, a trap onto the lock and hit, a sheep onto the lock and hit the mage here, or the other way around, a sheep onto the priest, a trap onto the lock, or a trap onto the mage. They can go on anyone who they want at this point. Me, myself, and Idio. I'm not.
And let me direct your attention really quickly. The Warlock on Synergy is playing with the Succubus. I know Warlocks don't have counterspell, or spell lock at this level, so that's a really I think good choice playing with that Succubus. He could, I guess, play with an imp to dispel if he in the off chance he gets sheeped or trapped. He could be playing with that imp. So we'll see if that Succubus is able to CC Idiot, and I think if it is able to land a full seduce onto Idiot, that's going to be how this team of Synergy is going to shut down me and myself and Idiot.
I agree. And as you can see, the Warlock's pushing him really, really deep here. I don't think it's a wise idea for him to push around this far at this point. He's not doing any damage. He's just kind of staying in close at this point. He is taking some damage, though. I do think the target of choice is going to be Ezerons by that team, but the full poly is coming out onto Flying God Heal here. Fail Godlock is taking a bit of damage right now. He's dropping below 50%. The re-poly coming out onto Flying God Heal, but he is kind of stable. A triple DR trap coming out there. Maybe the shield's going to come out. He does seem to get picked back up here by Flying God Heal. Really well played, but it doesn't look like he's out of trouble just yet. The full fear coming out onto Idiot. The whole poly coming out. It's Idiot Mage. The trinket does come out, but no damage is followed by that cross CC. They really need to be lining up that damage much better on that cross CC, Moran. But the target of choice again, Fail Godlock. He's still taking a lot of damage.
And Idiot's just in cat form for pretty much this entire game. Right. He did leave cat form momentarily, but he's just pretty much been doing damage this entire game. And he is actually able to get a Ferocious Bite onto that Warlock. So that was a very interesting style of play by Idiot's team. Idiot choosing to go in cat form, which it makes complete sense. He can't be polymorphed at that point, and it's enough pressure so that Synergy just gets overwhelmed with damage.
That was pretty crazy. The Warlock did go down there with that big bite. They shouldn't have been allowing the Druid to be able to just push in and get them combo points. Because as we do know, everyone who plays the lower level brackets, 1929s, even 39 bracket, that Ferocious Bite does a lot of damage from Boomkin spec and Resto spec druids, a lot more than you'd actually expect. So allowing him to get them 5 points and getting a bleed up there from the swipe, which increases his crit, doubles his crit chance with Ferocious Bite, and getting that bite off onto the target of choice without even trying to fear peel it to mitigate the amount of combo points that he can actually rack up before asserting some pressure out onto his team. I think that was a mistake there. They only managed to get one fear off onto Idiot at that point. I don't really agree with that. They should have been trying to go for a triple CC, and while he was in the open, potentially swap onto him with a Chaos Bolt and a CC onto the Mage. At least they could have caught a Trinket out at that point, but I am sure that when the fear came out onto Idiot in that last game, that the Trinket was already down by the Mage on his team, so you'd have to invest something like a block to CS that Chaos Bolt.
Yeah.
I don't know, Mirana. I don't know. I think the strategies was...
Yeah, and it can be overwhelming getting trained as a caster, but I think you just need to at least try to pump out those fears. Like I think the only way you're going to get any sort of momentum is if you can actually put Idiot into a full fear, which didn't happen until later on in the game. And so you pretty much need to just accept the fact that you're not going to have any mobility, tank the damage, and try to cast that fear onto Idiot. And that he wasn't able to get much going. And I don't know, can you? I'm kind of a noob, but can you seduce Resto Druids when they're in cat form? I'm not exactly sure. Maybe that's why. Because you can, okay. Because I only saw a seduce. I never saw a seduce on the Idiot. The only CC that pretty much hit him was a fear, and I think I saw a seduce onto Ezron at one point. So Failgod's not doing that great of a job getting his CC out when I think he needs to be. But of course, once again, it can be quite overwhelming getting trained as a caster, especially if you're a caster with zero mobility like a Warlock.
Yeah, in this bracket, the Warlocks have like the minimalistic amount of mobility out of all of the casters. So it is a hard time. You've got to position yourself really well. But at the beginning of last game, he ran into the center of the enemy team on his own. I don't really agree with that positioning at all there. They should kind of be trying to swap to the people who come out. And when they actually have some damage lined up and like able to go, they should come out with the polymorphs and the seducers and stuff like that, and try and go for the CC once some pressure's out, forcing the Druid to be out of form so he's eligible to get hit by them polys. But the gates are about to open, guys, and let's see if Blade's Edge Arena offers a different outcome to this game. I think this is going to play into the favors a lot more of the MLP here, because there's a lot less line of sight that can be abused by Idiot here. In Dalaran Sewers, the boxes are so big, and fighting around them boxes makes it really difficult to be able to get those cross CC chains out, especially with the abilities available in this bracket. As we can see right now, we've got Team Synergy that has kind of stood at the top, taking control of the bridge, and Team B, myself, and Idiot, they are stood down the bottom because they know they don't want to fight up top, because that is the playing field for the MLP right here. I'm just anticipating, just waiting to see what's going to go on here. They're trying to throw out some like early frost bolts, just any kind of damage that they can do at this point. I wonder which team's going to be the initial aggressors here, Moran.
Yeah, it looks like Synergy doesn't want... Neither team appears to be wanting to give up their positioning. I think obviously Synergy wants to be up top. I think that's an obvious choice. But, it's at this point, it's going to be whatever team just gets impatient. But I would like to see this game actually played up top. I think me, myself, and Idiot, I think they could actually do fairly well if this game was played on the bridge. But right now, they don't want to do that, obviously.
Yeah, I think they're unaware of what they actually have here, because they do have a counter spell and a counter shot available on Team Myself and me, myself, and Idiot. I do think that they could just be really early with the aggression onto that Warlock, try and catch some trinkets out of Team Synergy, and then potentially drop down to the bridge and resume this position they're in right now to wait for the next time to go when they've got their interrupts ready to buy themselves some time to land that CC. That's what I'd be trying to say to my team, I think, if I was any of the players on me, myself, and Idiot.
And Synergy actually having perfect synergy with their transmogs and their character models. So really good job by them, making sure that each member of their team looks exactly the same. That's what that hashtag synergy is meant to represent. That is some team solidarity right there. So excellent job by them matching those transmogs.
I couldn't agree more. The guild choice as well, identical. I'd be confused if I was in there. I wouldn't know who's who. But this game is a really slow game, Moran. No one really wants to make the first move, and I don't know what's going to happen here, because if it gets into the point where dampening is going to kick in, I don't think that's going to play well into the team of the resto jury.
I don't think dampening kicks in until 5 minutes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is 5. Right now it's 0% dampening, and we're already 2 minutes 30 seconds into this game. So I think one of these teams just needs to, man up a bit, decide to give up their positioning. And I think, they need to do this soon.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think they should be using a little bit of pet control here, like putting the succubus down the bottom, trying to get the seduce onto the resto jury, then just dropping down and getting stuck in there realistically with an open penance, frostbolt, and incinerate spam onto a target to really try and catch the trinket from idiot. I mean, that's the only way I can see them opening.
I thought succubus had a invisibility effect. I'm not sure, because that I didn't realize that would be actually really smart if they just sent that succubus down to go CC idiot and just charge in once the seduce lands. But it looks like he's not taking advantage of that. I do believe succubuses do get invisibility at this level. Maybe that's something else prudent. Maybe I'm an idiot, but who knows?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it might be a higher level thing, because most people would have that on passive, so it automatically goes back into stealth once combat is dropped, or once aggro's essentially dropped for the pet. So I'm not sure. They're just kind of dragging this out here, and I don't really know what to make of it.
And the unfortunate thing too is, if this game were to go into dampening, which will kick in 1 minute, I think that actually favors idiot teams. Actually, here we go. Synergy finally deciding to push down. So
yeah, Synergy are pushing down here. The Hunter's Pet's going on to fail Godlock. It looks like the Lock's going to be the main target of choice here. I like the positioning going on by Team Synergy here. They've got a lot of synergy with that. The Trinket has come out there, though, by Fling God Heal. I don't know if that's good. The full poly is coming out onto that. So much damage is going to be dished out at this point, but actually I'm not really seeing anything. They're not taking advantage of this full CC chain that's going to come out onto Fling God X. Actually, they are. Fail Godlock, he's dipping down really low now. All of his defenses come out. His Hellstone and his Dark Regen. The shield does come out there. The CS is still available, though, and the penance does come out. He does manage to pick him up at that point. So really good job by Team Synergy there. The full entangling route comes out to Fling God Heal. He does use the dispel there, so he doesn't have dispel for a moment there. The poly's coming out onto Idiot Mage. Maybe they're just going to try and control this mage and go hard on Ezreon's. The Arcane Mage dumping out all of that damage into Fail Godlock here, and he does go down. Those Arcane Missiles with the 4 stacks absolutely destroyed the Warlock there. Amazing connection by Team Me, Myself, and Idiot. I'm so shocked at that point, because CS wasn't even available. They just
actually,
you know what, I got damage, let's just go.
Idiot did use a CS, actually. He did full lock the priest, and they're able to do damage following that. So yeah, it actually was a counterspell that shut down Flynn God or whatever at the end of that game.
I'm not sure about that, Moran, because I looked at the CS count. It was on 8 seconds left once those arcane missiles were coming out, so he would have used that like 16 seconds earlier. Or maybe...
In any case, Flynn God had a very questionable trinket, if you ask me. I think he trinketed late into a polymorph. I think, he sat, I think... I might have just have terrible memory, but I believe he sat like a significant duration of a full poly, and then deciding to trinket following that, and he actually used his Arm Mastery Glyph with that trinket to make sure he wasn't able to get CS'd. So I think, if he would have trinketed a bit sooner, perhaps it wouldn't have snowballed into that much damage.
I do believe that we're going to do something a little bit unconventional today in this tournament, because normally what you'd normally see in a tournament setting like this is that you would completely go through all of the winners bracket and then go into the losers bracket, because we're going to end today's stream. No, sorry, I'm completely wrong. We're going to end the first part of the winners bracket. We normally would be ended after round 2 is what I'm trying to say, but it looks like that we're going to go and do the losers round 1 right now. I do believe that could be due to one of the teams that are in the upper bracket being AFK or whatever. I'm not too sure what's going on there. So we are going to go down into the losers round 1, and we're going to get Dumpster Babies versus Politics up in the first game. Dumpster Babies versus Politics, Moran. Let's have a look at those team compositions, and I'd like you to talk me through those games, if you would.
Yeah, so Dumpster Baby's playing the Windwalker Survival Hunter Disc Priest, and Politics running that Red Arms Warrior Disc Priest. Again, I think for Politics to be successful in this tournament, they should utilize the fact that both those melee DPS can do a lot of damage to a cloth wearing Disc Priest. And so I think if they choose an aggressive route, deciding to if you're in the losers bracket right now, so I think you really have to try everything to try to bounce back in this tournament. In the earlier games, they weren't training the Disc Priest; they were training, I believe they're training a Hunter, right? In some of the earlier games against that Hunter Enhancement Shaman team. But I really think they should try a strat where they play aggressive onto the enemy team's healer, because I think that's going to be what's going to win them these games, especially if the Warrior is running with Warbringer.
I couldn't agree more. But I'm just getting some word right now that Team Politics are actually not online. So I don't know what's going on with them there. Maybe they didn't expect to be playing so soon, but I don't see why they would have gone offline. So the fact that they're all offline, guys, I think we're going to have to give them a couple of minutes to get back online in case they're watching the stream and they realize it's going to be their game that's up next. And then they will have to forfeit if they don't get back online in time. I think that might be what's going to happen, but I will have to confirm that with the officials, with the tournament host, to check to see exactly what's going on, because he is speaking to them right now, or a couple of them, to try and find out what exactly is going on. I am getting word here that, yes, they are logging back on. They were just unaware that they was going to be playing this soon. They said they're going to be all back online within the next 5 minutes. So that's great news, because we don't want more people dropping out of this tournament. We've already had one team that was unable to, due to an emergency work call, I believe, or something along those lines. He wasn't able to make it today. But yeah, these guys, they're going to be back really soon. So we will be getting into those next games as soon as possible. All right, guys. Yeah, so what we've got here, we're going to be getting within the next 5 minutes, we're going to be getting back into things. So what I'd like to do, I'm just going to go to a real quick interlude. Going to let you guys listen to some music while we fix out and iron out some of these little misunderstandings that we've got going on our side. I'm really sorry about this, guys, but we'll be back with you super soon. So stay tuned, and we'll be back delivering you some top quality 29 games really soon.
All the stars have faded, 'cause they don't wanna see what we've done. And who could blame them, who wanna shine their light on that? If the sky drained into the empty space between my heart and my brain, all night, fall I could end what I started, then would I make you proud? If I could leave an impression on the mind of one man with a heart full of doubt, then I would appearances, we're children holding hands, and you believe me when I said you always had me, always had me. And you believe me when I said you always had me, always had me. I said you always
Welcome back, guys. Sorry we had to sort some things out, but we're going to go into the winners bracket again. It's going to be Gay Like Turbo versus Taco and the Reeds. Gay Like Turbo, once again, is playing that Windwalker Mage, Disc Priest, and Taco and the Reeds was playing that, I guess it would be Beast Cleave with that Enhancement Shaman, Hunter, and Priest. So we have some players from the 19 bracket are doing really well in this tournament. Taco and the Reeds playing exceptionally well, and then me, myself, an Idiot. Both those teams play a lot of 19s. At least Idiot plays some 19s. So again, we're playing the uppers bracket, and that's going to determine who's going to be playing Dumpster Babies in losers.
Yeah, I want to just take a look at these team compositions now. So we do have a 4-man roster on Team Taco and the Reeds, but the 4th man, from what we've seen before, is a Balanced Druid. So I'd like to know whether the Balanced Druid is going to come out and have some fun, and that'll be Feral Lord who'll be up on that Balanced Druid.
Yeah, so it's not a 4-man roster because of Feral Lord. It's 3 men and 1 boy. So that boy on that roster is Feral Lord. He is graduating middle school this year, so everyone should give him a congratulations if his team makes it to the finals in this tournament. Really exceptional job from a 14-year-old, prodigious player in this bracket for sure.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Some kind words there from you, Moran. But it does look like, guys, we've gotten into this game, and it is going to be the Beast Cleave coming out from Team Taco and the Reeds, which is... I'm happy to see that. I don't think that bringing out the Balanced Druid would have been a wise choice here, although it could be helpful against a mage with him being unable to be polymorphed, I do think that it could bring a little bit of more of a shutdown to Team Gay Like Turbo. But I'm not sure who's going to win this game. There's a lot of interrupts from either team that are going to be really, really effective against the other team. But the gates are open, so let's get into this game. We are on Blade's Edge Arena, And let's see how it's going to pan out. Lupiki's going in deep really, really soon, taking a ton of damage here, getting the roots out onto Bracket So Bad there. But Outgun looks like he's going to be the target of choice. Polly coming out to Bracket So Bad. He's not going to trinket that. The dispels are coming out. Fists of Fury onto Outgun, dipping down below 30%, 16%. He just about holding on for Day of Life here. 70%. He's managing to get picked back up. The Resheep's coming out now back onto Back So Bad. The counterspell has been used by Paperclips, and it does look like the Outgun is going to be able to receive enough heals to get through that. But the swap damage is coming out now onto Lupiki. The full trap out onto Paperclips. And so much damage is coming out to Lupiki here. The penancy's going in as well there. They're doing some additional damage, but it does look like he's going to stabilize now. He's put up that touch of karma onto Outgun, so the pressure's going to get swapped back over to him onto Outgun really, really soon. Full Nova sitting there in Bracket So Bad. No dispels coming out there. The dispel does come out a little late. Fist of Fury into Outgun. He's going down really low. He just go down. Wow, that was insane setup there by Team Gaylight Turbo. That was really, really well played there, Moran. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Team Gaylight Turbo actually beat the Beast Cleaver. I was thinking that the Beast Cleaver was going to be the most domineering out of the bunch here with the amount of damage that they can bring. But we had Robbie Joanna there just managing to heal Lupiki through that damage and keeping his team alive, and it resulted in the win. I'm really impressed by those plays.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with the strategy choice from Taco and the Reeds deciding to go on to that Windwalker Monk. Obviously, the Windwalker Monk can fall back on Karma, and the Mage can fall back on Ice Block. But the difference between those two cooldowns is that Lupiki can still do damage. He can still do things while he's popping his defensive cooldown, and that Mage will be completely useless if he's sitting in an Ice Block. So I don't know if I agree with that targeting choice. And again, that kill came with almost 0 CC on the healer. I don't think he was in a full polymorph. He might have eaten a full CS, but he did have his trinket available. So his team died with him having trinket, and I don't think he was in any CC to even use his trinket on. But again, questionable decision from Taco and the Reeds deciding to go onto that Windwalker Monk who can just karma the damage and truck the damage back onto the enemy team.
I couldn't agree more with you there. I do think that's the wrong target of choice. Plus the fact that he is a mail wearer, and having the higher armor proficiency in this low level brackets kind of PvP play, the damage mitigation that comes out from armor actually is quite a lot. It's more significant than you'd actually think. So hitting that mage, it would be a more squishy target as well, allowing them to put out more burst pressure with that hard hitting. I forgot the name of the ability. Storm Strike ability. That's the one that I'm talking about. Hard-hitting Storm Strike ability, followed by that Lava Lash. You could pretty much solo the mage without a block, and a good wind shear out onto the enemy's healer, I don't know. I do agree. It was the wrong target of choice. Plus the fact that a Touch of Karma, it does have a 1.5 minute cooldown, I believe. I don't think it's 2 minutes. So it's a pretty low cooldown. So that, it's going to really affect the enemy team with the setups and stuff like that, because if the Karma comes off cooldown by the time they've managed to get the trinkets that they want and so forth, then they've got another defensive to fall back on. But that 5 minute cooldown on Ice Block, you're pretty much going to only use it once a game at this kind of low level bracket. You're not going to be able to go and get your block back before you need to use it again. In most instances, the game does tend to end at that point. So I don't know. I kind of do agree with you. I think that the mage should be the target of choice here, for sure.
Yeah, again, the physical damage is so huge onto cloth wearers that it doesn't really make sense hitting the Windwalker Monk. So again, I'd like to see Taco and the Reeds switch up their strategy a bit. And even that one game, they were able to go on the Disc Priest. So I really like that swap. That was incredibly unforeseen, at least from my point of view, when they swapped to the Disc Priest on their matchup versus Politics. So they could even do some sort of strategy like that in this matchup. But again, the conservative strategy would be to train that Frost Mage to make sure he's not able to land polymorphs. And I think you don't even have to use your control on the healer at that point. If you just constantly lock down the mage from doing any sort of damage, any sort of CC, you can afford to not use your interrupts on the healer.
Yeah, and it's looking like that we're going to be going straight back into the arena now, and the arena of choice is going to be Ruins of Lordaeron. I don't know if Attack on the Reach actually want the map.
We got word that the arenas are actually random, so that was my bad calling out the map choices. I'm used to that from watching max level tournaments. You do have some map selections with the losers team, but in any case, I think this map definitely benefits Taco and the Reeds. So if I was them, this is the map I would have picked anyway, possibly Dalaran Arena. But this is a solid map choice. It really gives them a lot of, it's very difficult for the mage to land CC onto, it'll be very difficult for Paperclips to land CC onto Johnny Bravo. And, while that's happening, while he's struggling on CC, he'll just be taking tons of damage from that Hunter and he Instant Shaman if they choose to train him.
Oh, for sure. I couldn't agree anymore. But it does look like the target of choice is going to be, for now, outgunned for Team Gay-like Turbo. And I think they're going to swap it up here. The damage, it does look like it's going to be aimed at Paperclips. And so far, Bracket So Bad, he's been hit by that Polymorph Frost Shot coming out there onto the major. Paperclips is the target of choice. He just got interrupted on that Polymorph, so it was denied right there. The full Fist of Fury coming onto outgun. He's dipping down really low. It's just damage from Lupiki on his own, though. No follow-up damage there by Paperclips. No CC coming out there either. He really needs to be swapping this poly over onto Johnny Bravo right now. Because he's just completely off the eye. He does manage to get that poly, and it did break for some reason. He managed to break it, so it's only going to be a half poly now. Paperclips taking a ton of damage, dropping below 30% health, 11%. Tyranny Trinket coming out there. Maybe he's going to survive full trap coming out to Lupiki. He does Trinket that. The CS has come out onto no one at this point. I think
it was juked by Johnny Bravo. And actually, Johnny Bravo did Shadow Word Death, or I'm sure he did Holy Fire with that Inquisitor glyph. That's what broke the poly. So really good job by Johnny Bravo. I think that's a really good glyph choice, as I was talking about earlier. But again, this team, Gay-like Turbo, is just constantly doing damage on outgun, and Bracket So Bad is forced to use his off heals a lot this matchup, which I agree with. Every Fist of Fury should be pretty much accompanied by some off heals, some healing searches from Bracket So Bad.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like not a lot has changed here. Well, it looks like the enhancement is actually trying to swap damage into Robbie Juana, but you just get polyed up there. The off-heals are coming out again. If you look at the Bracket So Bad's mana, though, if he carries on healing like this without dropping combat, he's going to go completely out of mana. And wow, a hard swap comes out to Paperclips. That Storm Strike coming out there, and he just gets obliterated. He just got deleted. Holy hell. I didn't even see what went down there. I'd have seen the Storm Strike and the Angel appear at the side of the screen. Wow, that was just crazy. Did you manage to catch that, Moran?
I actually didn't. I was looking at the frames of Talk on the Reese, and I looked back, and Paperclips had died. So down goes Paperclips. That'll do it. MLG Orlando 2009. We're having some Venruki flashbacks around here in this level 29 Twink Arena. So that was pretty crazy. That Beast Cleave, the amount of damage they're able to do on Clothwear is substantial.
I completely agree. And after what we were saying before about hitting the Clothwearer because the damage is significantly higher, I believe that our prediction was right. That was a 100-0 job right there. So really well played there by Taco's team right there. So I'm just going to have a look at the brackets right now. The score so far it is 1-1 between Team Gay-like Turbo and Team Taco and the Reets right now. So the next game that we're going to go into will be the final game of this series to decide who's going to progress into the semi-finals of this 29 Twink tournament. I'm going to go down into the losers bracket.
Yeah, and one thing that I noticed that matchup is, again, that Enhancement Shaman was focusing a lot on healing surging while those Fist of Furies were coming out. But there was a bit of a mistake from the Disc Priest on Taco's team. He actually did take a full Fist of Fury at the end of the match. He was forced to trinket that while his Hunter was taking that fist damage as well. It could be argued, though, that having more than one target take the fist damage might actually be more optimal. Fist of Fury damage actually depends on how many targets it's hitting. The more targets it's hitting, less damage it does.
I need to cut you up here. There's a change in WOD that the main target still takes full damage, but other targets take diminished damage now. So the main target of choice, it still takes the priority damage from Fist of Fury. It doesn't get. It's not like MOP where it gets split evenly between all players anymore. So it's always
ignore what I said.
Getting hit by that double fist. Yeah, I only learned this. Well, I say only, but I learned this about 3 or 4 months ago because I've not been, very. It's basically when Walking Dead become a thing at Endgame. A fair few months ago now, and I actually learned that when I was playing it myself, and I was pretty shocked. I was like, wow, that's just insane. The amount of damage that they can just single target out whilst everyone's stuck in that AoE CC, it's actually insane. So that's kind of a buff that they've taken in this expansion for sure.
Yeah, because in last game, Johnny Bravo did eat a full fist. He was forced to trinket that while that fist was hitting outgun. So that's definitely something that Taco and the Reets needs to minimize happening during this matchup.
Oh, for sure. I couldn't agree with you anymore, but it looks like we are into this game, and it is Nagrand Arena. As we can see here, Lupiki's pushing in, getting that route out onto Bracket so bad, swapping the damage over onto Outguns. As you can see, the Enhance is trying to just get across the field here, but he's sitting in this full Nova. Polly coming out, Trinket come out here by Bracket so bad. A ton of damage going into Outgunned here. As you can see, Johnny Bravo just spamming them heals out. The guys just come out here. The CS is not available for paper clips at this point, but the full poly comes out to Johnny Bravo. He's probably going to be forced to trinket here. I'm not sure.
He actually did Shadow Word Death that again. So really good job by Johnny Bravo, Shadow Word Deathing these polymorphs, avoiding using his trinket. So that's a really good play by him.
Yeah, that's an exceptional play. I'm not actually catching this. I keep forgetting about this glyph. But the damage, anyway, is coming out. Some damage going to Robbie Joanna. A lot of damage coming out here. Got denied in that cast. Warstomp coming out. Ronnie Joanna getting that shield up. Meld comes out and he's free casting. But he does go down. He just got storm striked whilst that flash heal was going off and got denied of that heal that would have kept him alive. And he did go down there. Insane damage that comes out from these enhancement shamans in this bracket. They can swap onto anything that they pick and choose. It is crazy. It's crazy damage, Moran. It's going to be so difficult for people later on in facing this Beast Cleave. How are they going to handle the amount of damage and the swap pressure that this team offers? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what Robbie Juana trinketed, but I know at the end of the game he didn't. Oh, I guess he did trinket the War Stomp at the end of the game, but it didn't really matter. So really good job by Brackets with that, keeping that War Stomp up for that swap. I don't know if they plan to do that, plan to swap late game with that War Stomp, but it seems to be it's worked out for them twice so far in these matches where they're able to swap quickly onto the Disc Priest, who has no choice but to pretty much just sit there and take the damage. If that Priest isn't playing with R Mastery, it's going to be very difficult to heal through 2 interrupts, especially with the Enhancement Shaman interrupt having such a low cooldown. And even dealing with the delayed interrupt of Countershot is a bit tricky to deal with. But anyway, like I like those. I like that decision to swap onto the healer. And I think that's what some of these teams should be looking to do more often in this tournament, especially again since Disc Priests are pretty squishy. They have very low mobility. So if you can. If you're in an opportunity, if you see an opportunity, to swap to the Disc Priest, I really think it plays out well for your team, just because a lot of these teams aren't expecting it, I think. So it pretty much it makes them panic. And so really good job by Taco and the Reeds deciding to swap to that Disc Priest in that matchup.
I couldn't agree more. And the discipline from Team Taco, he definitely them polys, I would say it could be arguably a little hard to do in lower bracket PvP than higher level PvP because it's a lot more bursty, so you have to react a lot faster to things. And if you're kind of global star because you're forced to spam cast heals to keep your teammate alive, it's going to be pretty hard to actually get that global off to def those polys a lot of the time. But you're doing a really good job in making sure that his team's HP pools are at high state before initial CC does land so that he can afford them globals to get to def those polys. He's doing a fantastic job. I don't really know what more words to say. He's the whole team. They're playing so well. The calls that must be coming out on their voice client right now, on the swaps, the choice of tactics and stuff like that. They're doing a great job at identifying the enemy team's strengths and weaknesses and really finding a way to push through it and just penetrate any weaknesses that they have and exploit it to turn it into their favor for sure. But anyway, guys, the next game that's going to be up and coming is going to be me, myself, and Idiot versus Zara Larson Fan Club. This is going to be in the upper bracket round 2 here, and the winner of this series will go into the semi-finals to face Taco and the Reets. So yeah, I just want to quickly have a look at these teams, what they're going to be playing, what comps they've potentially got available. So that we can actually discuss and kind of want to give a prediction as to how we think that this next series is going to come out. Moran, maybe you can talk us through this. This is more your forte than mine, I believe.
Yeah, so I don't think that me, myself, and Idiot will change comps. It looks like, they kind of have a niche strategy going for them. They could actually swap to that Enhancement Shaman. I think that would be a more aggressive approach, even more aggressive than what they're playing right now. But having that Mage and the Hunter for those poly and trap DRs to be used on multiple members of the enemy team could become useful. We didn't actually get to see Zara Larson Fan Club play. They actually got a bye in the first round. They have a 4-man roster with a Disc Priest, Enhancement Shaman, Frost Mage, and Red Pally. I would venture. I don't know if you're allowed to play double hybrid in these games. I'm not sure, but I would like the Ret Mage, to be honest. Ret Mage Disc, I think, would be a pretty good comp for them to run. I think it's pretty well rounded. And if they're in a position to use a Hodge on the healer, follow that up with a polymorph, I think that's a pretty good strategy. It's only something you can execute every 1 minute, but I think that's enough to force a trinket and possibly set up another kill attempt when polymorph DRs come back up. But I like that Ret Pally Mage comp that they could possibly run. I don't really see them running Enhancement Shaman Mage. It's kind of goofy to me. It does have 2 interrupts, but it's just, I don't think that synergizes too well. And actually, that's exactly what they are running. They are running that Enhancement Mage. That, I guess, catches me a bit off guard. I do believe that's an Enhancement Shaman, correct? That's not Ellie.
That is an Enhancement Shaman, you are right. Yeah, rocking that low mana pool. But it does surprise me because I just wanted to speculate on the idea of the enhancement because it does bring an extra interrupt. It does bring a second offensive dispel as well to purge them hots from the enemy resto druid. I think it's probably the choice against this comp.
I just realized there is no weapon enchants in this tournament, and Rets are pretty bad without weapon enchants. Their damage isn't anything without a Crusader proc. Or it's much lower than the other classes can do without procs. So that's probably why they are choosing to run this matchup, because Enhancement Shamans are able to do significantly more DPS, I think. Sustained DPS throughout this entire game.
Yeah. I think so too. I don't think rep parties really have a lot to offer if they can't assert any pressure without that Crusader proc for sure. Especially in a bracket where the health pools are pretty high. But it looks like the game has kicked off. The wind shear coming out onto Idiot Mage by what is life. Idiot Mage sitting his full poly right now, and they're doing a lot of damage. He's going into Ezeron's here. Iceland spam is coming in here, but he does look like he's going to be able to stabilize here. Idiot is going to be able to hardcast some heals up here. LOS in Idiot Mage there to mitigate the chance of getting hit by that counter spell. The CS does come out though onto the polymorph that was put by Perks Fanboy. But Perks Fanboy is taking a lot of damage now. He's dropping down really low. Full poly coming out onto what is life. Cancer Dog is just staying back, throwing out them dispels, just making sure that he can keep his team alive. And at this point, I don't really know which way it's going to go. Ezeron's is dipping down really, really low. Oh my god, 1%. He just go down. Wow. I didn't expect that. I thought that Idiot Drew was in a safe spot there to be able to pick Ezeron right back up. Can you have a look at that again for me, Moran, and take me through what your point of view was on that, because I didn't expect him to go down at that point. That took me by surprise.
Yeah, I don't think Idiot was in any CC. I think I saw him actually bandaging, so maybe he did get counterspelled. I do believe I did see a bandage coming out from Idiot, or Idiot. Idiot Mage at the beginning of that game was getting locked down a lot. I think he got interrupted on Polymorph 2 times in a row, first by a Wind Shear, then by a Counterspell, so he wasn't able to do much. And then he was able to land a full poly onto Cancer Dog, but Cancer Dog was able to actually sit that, opting not to trinket that because his team wasn't under any pressure. But I do think, Idiot got interrupted at the end. That's the only reason why I think you would bandage, right, is if you get interrupted. So that was, a very quick kill. And I don't perhaps with that Enhancement Shaman, Idiot's niche strategy of just doing damage isn't necessarily going to work in this sort of environment where, there's lots of purges happening and Enhancement Shaman DPS.
I do agree. I just think that team me, myself, and Idiot, they are gimping themselves by running with a Resto Druid because Disc Priest being so strong, having them shields and Penance healing so much damage, and it's somewhat instant heal as well. The first tick just lands straight away. I do think it's going to be very difficult for them to actually beat Zara Larson Fan Club with the double dispels that are available there, and they have so much potential to deny the polys that can come out by Idiot Mage with the counter spell and the Wind Shear. And bear in mind that the Disc Priest as well, he is a Night Elf, so he can meld, he can death, he can guise. There's so many ways to actually stop them polys coming out onto the Priest from Team Zara Larson Fan Club. I think they're going to, me, myself, and Idiot are going to have a really hard time dealing with this team.
Yeah, perhaps they want to swap up their comps. I I don't know. Maybe swap out that mage for an enhancement shaman. I think would be a pretty wise option. Idiot mage again getting locked down for a considerable amount of time at the beginning of that game. And once he did land the poly, it didn't even matter. The priest just sat that, opting not to use his trinket. So I think in this sort of environment, you have to play a comp that is more suitable for just locking down a mage. And I think having that enhancement shaman for the extra interrupt plus the purges will, make sure that Revo just isn't free to reign over the enemy team, that just like he did that game.
Yeah, I do think that bringing that shaman in there is the last resort for Team Myself and Idiot. It's just bringing that mage. It can just be denied so easily. I just don't see it being the most viable comp that they can run right now, especially because they can choose. So I'm looking to see that coming out by Me, Myself, and Idiot next game. And if I don't, I'll be really surprised. And it wouldn't surprise me if Team Zara Larson Fan Club do take this whole series, throwing Me, Myself, and Idiot down into the losers bracket. But that's not what I want to see. I'm kind of Team Idiot right now, just because they're running with that Resto Druid. I like to back the underdogs. I'm very much like that. I do feel that I always want the underdog to win. This is a heroic.
Yeah, throughout this tournament, we haven't seen basically any representation from Resto Shamans or Mistweaver Monks. So, he is the lone Resto Druid in this tournament. So that is pretty respectable in an environment where pretty much everyone's playing with a Disc Priest. So really good, really big respect to Idiot for choosing to play with choosing to play as Resto Druid.
Yeah. Okay. The next game is going to be coming up really soon, guys. We're going to get into that as soon as possible. So yeah, I just want to take a look at the brackets right now. Anyway, so what we've got so far, we have got Team Taco and the Reeds competing in the semi-finals, which is going to be either against Team Zara Larson Fan Club or Me, Myself, and Idiot right now. And it's not looking very good for Me, Myself, and Idiot. And if they do manage to lose, they will go down into the losers bracket to face Team Politics. So that's where we're up to right now. There's a lot riding here for Me, Myself, and Idiot because, being that Resto Druid team, they want to be able to stay in the upper bracket as long as possible because the further they advance through this tournament, the harder it's going to get running with a Resto Druid here. So they really don't want to be going down if they could swap their comp up and potentially get some wins under their belt to allow them to progress further in the winners bracket. But it does look like that the queue is up, and it is going to be Dalaran Sewers, guys. We are in here, and I'm hoping to see a comp swap up from Team Idiot here, but it doesn't look like it. They're sticking with the mage. I think that's such a bad idea, Moran. I'm not happy to see that. I'm really surprised, actually.
Yeah, especially on this map, Dalaran Sewers, it's really annoying to deal with the line of sight as a mage from both of those boxes on either side. So I don't think Idiot Mage is going to be able to do much as far as damage or control in this matchup. So he's pretty much, I would consider him pretty useless. Perks Fanboy actually playing Frost makes it a bit easier to land polymorphs, to land cast, because you have an additional Nova from your pet. So I think playing Arcane is a bit crippling for Me, Myself, and Idiot compared to Zara Larson Fan Club, who can afford to play with that mage just because they have an additional Nova that'll make it easier for him to land polymorphs onto Me, Myself, and Idiot.
I think so, but bear in mind they are playing with the Resto Druid. He can shift them Novas and it'll put him in form, denying polymorphs in the first place. But I think that Team Me, Myself, and Idiot, they kind of want to go for that all-in damage kind of thing, like locking Cancer Dog out on cast maybe, or landing a full poly without a trinket, and just going for the one-shot without follow-up CC. I think that's the plan. But initially, Team Zara Larson is starting out onto Idiot E, but he does manage to pick himself back up, getting back into a good position. Good play by him there. The counterspell does come out by Perks Fanboy onto Idiot Mage, denying him of that polymorph. So he's just on the kite right now, full polymorph coming out to Idiot Maze. Damage is going to Ezra right here. Frost Shot comes out. Priest tossing out them Shadow Word Pains, doing a lot of damage. Cross polymorph going across onto Cancer Dog by Idiot Mage here. But nothing is actually coming out of this. Damage is significantly going into Perks Fan by a shield. Does come out there in between them polymorphs. I think he deathed that repoly. So that's really well played. By Cancer Dog right there. And right now, both teams are pretty stable. Idiot Mage just racking up them arcane charges as much as he can. It looks like it's going to be go time really soon. Triple DR poly coming out to Idiot Mage. So Moran, it could go either way this game.
Yeah, and the thing is, Cancer Dog doesn't have a trinket available, so if Idiot Mage is able to land a full polymorph on a Cancer Dog, they could maybe swing this matchup back in the direction. Idiot Mage forced to block. He's actually deciding to cancel that Ice Block. He does land I'm sorry, did get his CS juked by Cancer Dog, so really good job by Cancer Dog avoiding that. I think Idiot's Mage just needs to recover for a little bit and try to set up a position where they're able to land a full CC on a Cancer Dog so they can at least force an Ice Block from Perk's Fanboy.
Yeah, for sure. As you can see, there's a lot of damage now coming out into Ezreon's. He does manage to displace the beast and get disengage and get line of sight there. Maybe he should have gone for a bandage. I'm not too sure about that. The full trap did come out there, but I think he landed onto the water elemental. So really good job there. Polly coming out onto what is life. DR Roots is coming out there as well, and he is spam off healing Perks Fanboy right there to make sure that the damage doesn't snowball. Managed to score a kill here. The shield coming out onto what is life now by Cancer Dog. Cancer Dog getting hit by the full polymorph. Doesn't have a trinket available for 20 seconds. A lot of damage is going to come out here now. The arcane missiles coming out to Perks Fanboy, and the block does come out. Really well played there by Idiot Mage. Didn't manage to get a repoly up there. He's swapping the half poly over to what is life though, and it looks like that me, myself, and Idiot actually got the momentum right here.
Yeah, Idiot actually using a Ferocious Bite. I don't know how many points he had, but I think right now what Team Idiot needs to do is just kite back, play a bit conservatively. Idiot needs to try to build points as quickly as he can and set up another Ferocious Bite onto Perk's Fanboy while he doesn't have that Ice Block.
Like you can see here the enhancement shaman is pushing here hard onto Ezreon's. Ezreon's now dipping down below 60% HP. He's managed to get stabilized though by the hots that he's got going on there. So really good job there by Idiot E. And it doesn't look like that much is going on at this point now. You can see Perks Fanboy throwing out them frost bolts, just trying to get some damage. Like Idiot Mage gets a full poly onto what is life, gets hit by the dispel there though. Manages to get the repoly, arcane blast coming out. Poly swapped over onto Idiot Mage here. Perks Fanboy dipping down below 60%. Shield coming out there by Cancer Dog. Full trap onto Cancer Dog. He does have trinket available though, but maybe Perks Fanboy can actually get away with this. But the trinket does come out by Cancer Dog. Half root coming out onto what is life. And Team Idiot, they're not all topped off right now. CS does come out onto Cancer. But he does manage to fake that by Idiot Mage. Really good job there by Cancer Dog. Damage now going into Ezreon, dropping below 50% HP. Disengage comes out, trying to desperately get line of sight. Idiot is casting hard-casted heals into Ezreon right here. Maybe he could look for a couple of bandage ticks. Half poly coming out to what is life. And both teams are managing to stabilize at this point. Wow, really good game this is turning out to be.
Yeah, really good polymorphs by Idiot Mage onto what is life, preventing him from connecting onto Ezreon while Ezreon was dipping quite low. Really good play by Idiot Mage. But Idiot Mage actually dipping really low. I think he's going to die, actually. Excellent word stomp by Idiot, but unfortunately that's not going to be enough. Idiot Mage actually going down, despite Idiot war stomping the enhancement shaman off of him. But I think, the damage was just more than enough, and Idiot wasn't able to deal with that through HOTS or even Swiftmend.
Wait, Moran, correct me if I'm wrong, but just before Idiot Mage died, he activated Pom and he casted Poly. And I think, unless there was a bleed effect on Cancer Dog, that he Shadow Word Death the Pom Poly. I think that happened. I'm not sure, but it looks that way because the Holy Fire was used, but I don't know whether it lined up to actually death that Poly.
That'd be pretty crazy.
If that actually happened, that'd be pretty crazy. It really would be. I don't know why he'd need to use it at that point because it looked like Idiot Mage was going down anyway. Maybe he just used it as offensive damage and it happened to break the Pom Poly, So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened there, but I'd like to think that was intended because that would have been crazy plays that would have come out there by Cancer. So let me just have a look at this bracket now, guys. We do have. I think it's looking like that. Is it me, myself, and Idiot? Did they progress into the next round? Am I wrong? I'm not sure. Let me just check the scores real quick. I've completely forgot what the actual scores were in that game. No, I was wrong, guys. I'm sorry about it. Let me just say that one more time. It's going to be a 2-0 sweep to Zara Larson Fan Club. I mean, because I was so vouching and I was so backing me, myself, and Idiot. I really wanted them to pull through that. They did a great job that game, but they did manage to go down, I remember, in the end there against Zara Larson Fan Club. So they are going to progress into the semi-finals right there to face Taco and the Reets. But the next game is going to be in the losers bracket. It's going to be losers bracket round 2. Me, myself, and Idiot versus Team Politics. So I just need to make sure that the tournament host has got these teams ready and available to go straight into this next game. I'm just checking this out now real quick. So Big Moran, what we've got coming up now, we have got me, myself, and Idiot versus Team Politics in the lower bracket round 2. So could you take me through what you think, what comps they're running and what you think the potential outcome could be and maybe some strategies that each team would need to play?
Again, Politics, I think, was running that Red Warrior, while me, myself, and Idiot, the team we just watched, was running that Hunter Mage. And I think it's going to be very difficult for that Red Warrior to connect on any target in this matchup. All three of those things are really annoying to deal with as melee DPS. I think Idiot was playing with Wild Charge last game. He might decide to play with Displacer Beast if this team of Politics starts training him. But I'd like to see that, some sort of strategy come out from this team of Politics, kind of punishing Idiot for playing that Wild Charge. If they can, hodge him up or something when he Wild Charges in, he has very little mobility to get away. But again, that travel form is going to be very difficult to deal with anyway. But I think this is definitely in the favor of me, myself, and Idiot, just because they have so much mobility. And that's really going to be troublesome for Team Politics.
I think so too. And if it was me and I was playing the Resto Druid for me, myself, and Idiot, I would probably make sure I'm rocking the Displacer Beast, because I think he was just talking about him running with a Wild Charge in previous games, and I don't think that that's a wise idea against a Malik Cleaver at all. I think he should be playing safe with that Displacer Beast, but we'll see when we get into these games. Maybe I can just inspect him here real quick and take a look at these choice of talents. I can't actually view his talents, unfortunately, so I can't check. So we'll just have to see how the game goes on, guys, whether or not he's going to be rocking that talent.
He is actually playing with Displacer Beast. I pulled it up, and let's see if Bernie Boat playing with Warbringer stun. So maybe they'll use some aggressive strategy training Idiot with a Warbringer stun into a Hodge. Potentially could see that coming out. They might just decide to go Ezron with that Warbringer stun. In any case, I think Bernie Bro is going to be very difficult for him to connect to any target in this matchup. And again, I think this is going to be in the favor of Idiot's team.
I agree. I think that he should be running with Juggernaut, to be honest. He needs to make sure that he's getting that damage out. He's the main damage dealer on his team, especially without the Ret Paladin able to use them Crusader enchants, which they're so reliant on in these low-level brackets. But let's see. It's a slow start, guys. We've got Team Me, Myself, and Idiot in the middle now, just kind of taking the control, the majority of the map. While we've got Team Politics, they're kind of turtling behind a pillar right now, using, I like that core hound mount there by Delayed. I think he's trying to make a state of point there. Like, if you want to come around here, you're going to get pounded by us with his dominating mount there, really peacocking himself behind that pillar. I don't know, guys. The rejuice is coming out by Idiot now. He's keeping his team free-hearted in case they decide that they want to push in. I'm not sure what they're waiting for. I'm wondering what the strategy is going to be here by Team Me, Myself, and Idiot, because I do think that they could actually push in if they would like to.
Yeah, I don't know if they're just waiting for Idiot's team to dismount. In any case, I think it's going to be really difficult for this Warrior to stay on one target, and the Red at the same time to stay on one target. Perhaps right now the Red should just try to build combo points, or Holy Power, and try to get something going. I don't know why Idiot Mage is deciding to poly up Donald Trump. These are kind of wasted DRs, considering that Team Politics isn't really pushing in. They're staying behind that pillar. So right now, I think Politics this is the time that they should be pushing in when Donald Trump is on that poly DR. It gives them some opportunity to do something aggressive. They're deciding not to, though, just staying behind that pillar. So that's a weird choice. Once you're on poly DR, it's 15 seconds where they can pretty much reign free over this team.
I agree. The hots are up now on Team Me, Myself, and Idiot. The Entangling Roots does come out, though, onto the Retribution Paladin, but it does happen to break. As you can see now, they're still staying behind this pillar. I don't understand what's going on. And Delayed, he's on the opposite pillar from the rest of his team. This could be really good for Team Me, Myself, and Idiot. I mean, like, two people could push in between the two pillars, and one guy could go around the other side, and they could really collapse onto him. But as you can see, Delayed is pushing out here. Bernie Bro is pushing out here as well. The full Nova coming out onto Delayed doesn't get hit onto Bernie Bro, though. That was a really bad Nova that came out there. Full poly coming out to Bernie Bro. Now the damage is going into Delayed. He's sitting that full polymorph, not able to catch that dispel from Donald Trump, because I think that he's out of range here. Delayed managing to get around the pillar. The full roots coming out to Bernie Bro. It does break, though. Defensive stance comes out. Full poly over onto Donald Trump. He's maybe going to be a trinket. It's so much damage. He's actually going to Bernie Bro now. He's dipping down below 30% HP. Repoly coming out here. The Ret Paladin needs to be spamming heals. He's doing a great job of stabilizing Bernie Bro here. Bernie Bro managed to catch the line of sight just as needed. Counter spell did come out there, though, onto the Ret Paladin Delayed. So I think that was kind of a wasted CS at this point, because they had no momentum. I believe that was wasted. The blink coming out here from Idiot Mage. Full poly coming out onto the Warrior now, and he's not getting dispelled up just yet. Half root coming out onto Delayed. Damage is going into Delayed. He looks like he's the target of choice now by Team Me, Myself, and Idiot. And a lot of damage coming out, triple DR poly coming out onto Bernie Bro, and the bubble does get forced by Team Politics. Wow, insane. Really good plays here by me, myself, and Idiot.
Yeah, and right now Idiot's taking a bit of damage, but I think, if he's able to land a full polymorph onto Donald Trump, he can lock out, or he can end this game really soon. Bernie Bo dropping really low. It looks like the trap missed Donald Trump. I don't know if Ezron's trap was intended for him. Ezron actually dipping relatively low. He was in execute range just momentarily. He does get that war stomp going out, and he's able to kite away. Right now, Idiot Mage is spamming polys on delayed, letting Ezron get some room. And again, this is a position where I think now that Politics is on some poly DRs, they should be looking to push in aggressively. A charge stun does go onto Idiot Mage with that Blitzcliff also stunning up Ezron, but damage is going up onto Bernie Bro while Donald Trump is stuck in that full polymorph. And if he's able to land another polymorph, I do think he'll go. Bernie Bro will go down. Unfortunately, Idiot Mage not able to land a second follow-up polymorph onto Donald Trump, and so right now. This game is going on for a while. Dampening hasn't kicked in yet, but I don't think we'll be going into dampening during this game.
Oh, for sure. But the target of choice now is going to be delayed. That a lot of damage has been coming out into it. Triple DR Polymorph coming off out to Donald Trump, swapping the damage over now onto Bernie Bro. Hard-casted heals coming out here by delayed. But Idiot Mage is in some trouble himself, dropping down below 50%. Ezerom at 50%. Now, Idiot is having a hard time keeping his team completely top, throwing them Rens out, getting that dot damage coming out. He's really, really punishing and putting Idiot far behind. He's not able to get any combo points at this point. He's managing to stabilize his team. Full charge coming out here now onto Ezeron. He does manage to disengage to get away. He is playing with post so he's able to kite. Big swap coming out onto Bernie Bro now, and he does go down. Insane damage that came out there by Ezeron and Idiot Mage. And I think that was a bite that came out as well by Idiot. I think he did have the points already, and he was just waiting for that prime opportunity to pounce, and he executed that with absolute perfection.
I know Idiot Mage landed a full CS on the Donald Trump, which is what locked in that kill, and Delay not able to deal with that damage through his flash shields. So really good job by Idiot Mage. And I guess Idiot, if he did get that ferocious bite in there, that's really good play by him, sinking his damage with that counterspell. And again, I think that counterspell, I've said this so many times throughout this tournament, but that counterspell is really important. If you're able to land that counterspell, it's 7-second lockout, which is essentially the same as landing a full poly onto the healer. And so really good job by Idiot Mage landing that CS.
I completely agree. And landing that full poly does not put your polymorph on DR, so he can be followed out by a Frost Nova, so that the priest can't dispel himself and put out into a full poly on that as well. So it's so important to make sure that CS lands. We cannot emphasize that enough, especially at these lower levels. But it does look like Donald Trump and Delayed are trying to fight this out, but he doesn't have enough damage being a Rep Paladin without Crusader here to score a kill. But Idiot Mage actually is below 50% now. He's doing some significant damage. Triple DR Polymorph coming out into Donald. And the fight is not over, but the arcane missiles coming out, being dumped into Delayed right there. He's just trying to heal through it the best that he can. He's trying to keep this damage onto Idiot Mage. The blink does come out, but he's not going to be able to poly Donald at this point because he is still on DR and he's trying to go for that Polymorph. But the lady's dipping down really not low now, and it does look like that he's going to go down. They tried to fight it out to the bitter end. They really wanted to take this game, but it looks like that they didn't manage to, and the win does go over to me, myself, and Idiot, which I'm not surprised about, but I am happy to see that a Resto Jury team is winning games. I really am.
Yeah, but again, I think I feel bad for Politics because it's so difficult for them to be mobile against this team that has pretty much unlimited mobility. Very difficult for them to actually connect onto any target. They're able to get some swaps on Ezeron. Ezeron dipping a bit low a few times throughout that matchup, able to do some damage onto Idiot Mage. And again, they're not going to be able to do any damage onto Idiot just because he can displace your beast away. That's a last resort available. But I really think what teams need to be utilizing more, and this is like some strategy that you tend to pick up on at like max level PvP, is once you're on DR, once you've survived a kill attempt from the other team, that should signal your team to start playing offensively. If your team's now on full poly DRs, that's when you should take the opportunity to start playing aggressively, because you can't get shut down as easy. So I disagree a little bit with how Politics approached that matchup, but again, I think that's an uphill matchup in any case.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That is the cue to go. Like when you're unable to be CC'd, what other reason would there be to not go? They were just kind of scared of the incoming potential damage. I think rather than being hit, but rather than being peeled, I think they were just kind of worried that that teaming myself, an idiot, could just counter them with putting so much damage if they LOS the healer whilst he was being dragged around the pillar or something. I'm not too sure, but I do think that you are right, that it is their cue to go, and they didn't really capitalize on the opportunities when they presented themselves when they was on DR to go. I think they missed out on some really good opportunities there too. But it does look like that we're going to have a couple of minutes break here, guys, because a couple of teams are just the next team that we're going to be going into the next games that we're going to be going into, the players there, they've got to go and do some stuff. Like one guy's AFK. I think they're just having a bit of a toilet break or whatever. So we'll be getting into these games really, really soon. It's going to look like we're going to be getting into these games 1 minute. I'm getting word now. So that's great. We're going to be getting back into these games. So Moran, answer me this. From the perspective of team politics running that Ret Warrior, what map choice do you think that is going to be the best for them to counter Team Me, Myself, and Idiot?
Again, yeah, so they don't get the map choice, but
what are they going to pray for?
Perhaps like something like Dalaran Arena might be good for them, simply because again, it's very difficult for Arcane or any sort of mage to deal with Dalaran Arena, and if they're able to stand on top of each other, they'll likely be able to eat some of the traps that might go onto the healer. So I think if they utilize the line of sight that's available on Dalaran Arena, and just kite when their healer gets CC'd, I think that's going to be a really good map for them. And it'll force in order for both Ezeron and Idiot Mage to do damage, they have to be in line of sight. And so they're going to have to go behind those boxes sometimes, which really puts them in an awkward position. Having their healer chase them around a pillar can be quite annoying from a healer point of view. So if they get Dalaran Arena, that would be a good map for them. They do. We did get queued into this arena. They are going to get Blades Edge Arena, which again I think will favor Me, Myself, and Idiot a bit. Having that open map, I wouldn't be surprised if Politics decides to try to play this down below. We might potentially have another game of cat and mouse for 5 minutes. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if Politics tries to go down below and play this matchup where there is more line of sight available.
I think so too. I think that Team Politics, they have to play down below. I don't think they've got much choice really, because if they play out in the open field and the mage, Idiot Mage manages to get in there with a blazing speed frost and over onto the priest. We can catch the guys there really easily out of Donald Trump and follow that up with a polymorph, and they can just dominate from there. They can hit that full CC chain, causing trinkets to come out, a counter spell onto delayed whilst training him, and he won't even be able to bubble. They need to play where the LOS is going to be there for them. It's going to be a bad choice if they decide to play up top, in my opinion. And as you can see, yeah, they are going to play downstairs because they do realize what the scenario is. So they are going to be playing downstairs for sure.
And I really hope we don't see another 5 minute wait between these two teams. I really think if I was the Idiot's team and if I was the mage, I would just honestly blazing speed, blink in, arcane torrent, land a full poly, just go. I think that's your best shot at just establishing some early game pressure, and of course the the priest can't spectral guy as well in that arcane torrent. So if they do decide to engage, that's how I would do it. It looks like neither team is willing to give up their positioning early. Actually, Idiot Mage landing a full polymorph from the Donald Trump. I don't know why Ezeron is just standing there on his mount. Now he's finally dismounting. If he can land another follow-up CC onto Donald Trump, perhaps they can get some early game pressure going. It looks like that's not going to be the case. I don't know, that might have been a miscommunication on Me, Myself, and Idiot's team. Getting that polymorph out is really important, especially when this team has such defensive positioning down below. But let's see if they decide to capitalize on this this position. It looks like they're not actually engaging, so
I completely agree. And that position that they had at that point, though, with the mage stood at the ramp side, with Ezeron and Idiot, he just stood at the middle near the ramp. The mage was able to throw out polymorphs, and it was forcing the team Team Politics to run on the other side of the pillar where Ezeron could put some damage in, but it looks like that they've swapped sides now. Ezeron is on the ramp. He looks like he wants to send his pet down. He is bringing it back. He does realise he's not going to send his pet into that death trap down there. He's just dumping out some damage now, just trying to get that perfect opportunity where the polymorph comes out as they've already got some damage rolling. Idiot, as you can see, if you take a look over here, he's trying his best to really try and get in a position that's safe near his healer to land some CC. He's coming out with the Arcane Blast, though. He's not even looking to rack up a polymorph there. He just wants to just get his stacks high. This looks like it's going to be a bit of a stalemate for a while. The heroic throw coming out there by Bernie Bro. He's like, hey, I'm over here, bro. I'm throwing that dagger or whatever straight at his face. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
A bit of a troll going on there.
It's a bit unfortunate to me to see like these, I guess, resident sleeper strategies, but it is what it is. Idiot Mage actually deciding to drop down. He does land a full Nova. He's going to get locked up on his polymorph, I do believe, not able to land that onto Donald Trump. But finally, we have some activity in this matchup. It looks like, never mind. So I guess we're resetting back to the top of the bridge. But yeah, we did see some activity. I'm sure this is what people who like study like earthquakes deal with on a daily basis. They see a bit of activity, get a bit excited, and then it dies down. So this is a little like 5 seconds of excitement. Reminds me of my sex life. Am I right, boys? But anyway,
we just need an earthquake to get these guys to panic a little bit and just run, rather than just stay there behind the pillar turtling. But it does look like that it has kicked off. Idiot Mage getting that fully polymorph now out onto Donald Trump, and it looks like the target of choice is going to be Bernie Pro. He is getting the Rens up, and he's doing damage into Ezeron's pet, and he does manage to bring that back. He does get picked back up, so really well played by that. No follow-up CC on Donald, because it does look like Me, Myself, and Idiot have retreated, trying to bait them away from the pillar, but Team Politics didn't take that bait, and they're still staying down here now. I don't know what they're playing for. There's absolutely no logical explanation why there shouldn't be a battle right now. It's not going to play into the favor of either team by letting the dampening kick in. I don't really see what's going on. Why is no one pushing in? I don't know. I think that Team Me, Myself, and Idiot kind of, if it was me, I'd be really impatient. I'd be wanting to just get stuck in. I'd just be like, if I was Ezeron right now, I'd be like, screw this. I'm just going to get in and disengage out and just try and bait them away from the pillar. That's it now. Idiot Mage dropping off there. Full Frost Nova coming out. Delayed. He's sitting that Full Frost Nova, but he did get a Dispel up onto Bernie Pro. Really well played. Like denying Me, Myself, and Idiot from putting any damage out there. No CCs was actually used, so there's still full poly DRs on all three players on Team Politics. It looks like that Me, Myself, and Idiot are going to be the team that are going to be the aggressors here.
Yeah, Idiot was actually able to get a few points. I don't think he got that many, but he was in cat form momentarily, getting some points onto, I believe it was the Warrior on Politics. Dampening, I think it will be kicking in 30 seconds, but I don't think that's going to be such a deciding factor. Again, I actually think Dampening favors this team of Politics, if you actually ask me, because they have an additional healer. And I think, if Bernie Bro can get a nice rend going and follow up the last rend tick with like a charged Mortal Strike onto like someone like Ezeron, I think that's going to be how they're going to lock in a kill. Dampening, I think, will start to kick in. Yeah, there it goes. -1% healing. It looks like Team
Full trap coming out here though onto Donald Trump, and Ezeron is dipping down below 50%. Now, Idiot getting hard swapped to. He just managed to pick himself back up, but Ezeron is not out of the trouble just yet. Arcane Missiles being dumped into delay there by Idiot Mage. Ezeron is still in a lot of trouble. He's managing to get picked back up now, though, by Team Idiot. They have retreated, and Team Politics are back down by the pillar. Morani, it's driving me insane. What is going on?
Idiot doesn't have his trinket available, by the way. I kind of actually agree with Politics deciding to turtle it a bit. They're waiting for that, I think, that Hodge to come back up. And I think, if they can connect back on Idiot. Idiot dropped really low, and I think it was just a Hammer of Justice. I don't think it was followed up by a charge stun, but perhaps that's what they're looking to try to do. Just get Idiot in a position where they can stun him out of bear form and just get some damage rolling. I'm sure Idiot has that in the back of his mind. He's probably not going to play so aggressive while he doesn't have his trinket available, but I think that's the strategy that Politics will likely be trying to utilize, before Idiot's trinket comes back up.
I just believe that at this point, Me, Myself, and Idiot, they need to wait for that trinket, and they need to go down there, and they need to go aggro. They need to be putting out that CC and not allow Politics to play that pillar. They need to just be rushing at them. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit more damage. It's going to be a little bit difficult for Idiot to heal, but they need to go in there when they've got all CCDRs available and just try the best to dump as much damage out as they can onto Bernie Pro to get some cooldowns out of Team Politics so that they can't wait on this Hodge and wait for the trinket to be down by Idiot, and so they can actually make something of it. Because at this point in time, I think that it's me, myself, and Idiot that are actually falling behind. There's a half polymorph coming out into Bernie Pro there, but nothing's going to be achieved by that. Everyone's taking a little bit of damage here.
And Idiot's trinket is coming back up, so that potential strategy from Politics is pretty much gone. I don't think they're going to be able to make any sort of kill attempt onto Idiot when he has his trinket available. He can simply just trinket the Hammer of Justice and displace the Beast away. So, yeah, I don't know. Politics didn't really capitalize on what I think was a pretty substantial window of opportunity for them. Yeah.
It was so huge. It really was. They could have killed Idiot in a Hodge into a charge stun, or charge stun into Hodge, whichever way you want to go about it. But at this point, guys, it's so stable. There's nothing really going on, and I almost feel like the Team Politics, they might have, they know they've met their match and they're just trying to drag this out because they can't see any way that they can win, and they're just going as long as they can. They're going to hope for a one shot.
Well, we're almost at 20% dampening, which is a pretty scary amount of reduced healing, if you ask me. And if this game lasts for another minute, I think we're going to be at around 30% dampening. So either way, I think dampening again favors Politics, but it looks like Idiot Mage getting a few sheeps onto Donald Trump. Again, I think following these sheeps is when Politics should be trying to play aggressive. A little bit of damage coming out onto Delayed. Idiot actually building points, getting hodged behind that pillar. He does get a Ferocious Bite onto Delayed, forcing that bubble. And right now, again, Donald Trump is on full poly DR. He does have his trinket available. I think right now his team needs to try to play offensive. Idiot seeming to have no problems dealing with this damage, despite there being 25% dampening.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, but do realize that he is on DR, but Idiot Mage CS available. Again, they're looking for the retreat. What did they actually catch there? They managed to get the Warrior's trinket, but also Idiot's trinket is down. So it's looking in a positive position here for Team Politics if they do try and capitalize on the fact that Hodge is going to be coming up very, very soon and they could go onto the Druid without a trinket. Especially in this state of dampen, there's not going to be any way with his team not having any hybrid off healers to be able to top Idiot through the damage. Ideally, if they can connect onto Idiot without using the charge, that would be insane. Because if on the Displacer, Bernie Bro could charge and attempt to finish him off at this point. But it does look like the fight is going to be engaged. Idiot Mage getting a triple Nova out there. Bernie Bro sitting this full Nova here. A lot of damage coming out to Delayed. He doesn't have Bubble available. He does have his Trinket, though. Donald's still got his Trinket available as well. And his Spectral Guy. So this is looking okay right now. Full track coming out to Delayed. He did miss onto Donald Trump. That's really well played by soaking that there by Delayed. But they're just trying to hump them pillars. Ezeron is on the ramp right now, dishing out tons of damage into Delayed. Pumping it out. His pet does go down, though. He's going to look to res his pet here, I do believe. He's resing his pet right now.
You can tell right now that Idiot is definitely afraid of that Hodge. Again, we lasted another minute and we're into 31% dampening. Idiot doesn't have his trinket available. If Politics does try to make some sort of kill attempt on the Idiot, it has to be in the next like 10 seconds. But right now we have typical Resident Sleeper strategy coming out from both teams. It's not like one team is doing the turtling. I think both teams are deciding to play very passively for some reason. Idiot's trinket does come back up, so I don't think we'll see any sort of Hammer of Justice onto him. I don't think he's going to be a viable swap target, at least until he doesn't have his trinket available again.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it's just looking at that point now where there's still nothing going on. As we can see, Idiot Mage here is trying to put some damage in, but Team Politics, they are just LOS in as 3. They're all stood behind. They're just mitigating all of the damage that can come out by Team Me, Myself, and Idiot right now. They're trying really hard to get in a position of triple Nova coming out here. This Delay getting dispelled up there. Bernie Bro sitting this full Nova, full poly out to Donald Trump. A lot of damage coming out into Delayed. Maybe a repoly needs to come out into Donald Trump. And I think that he does get the CS there onto Donald Trump. He does land. Delay's in a lot of trouble. Half poly coming out to Donald Trump, overlapping with that CS though, but Delay does go down because he didn't have that bubble available. Really well played by Me, Myself, and Idiot. They're saying if you want to turtle all game, fine. We will still go in there and we will push your stuff back in. Really well played by them. I'm so happy that they took this game because I do not like to see that style of play where they're turtling all game, dragging it out this long when it's for no reason at all. So I'm really happy that the way this outcome came, Big Moran. I don't know about you. How do you feel about this game?
Well, I think Idiot's team finally realized that they can win by simply just pressing their W key and running into the other team. I think it took them 5 minutes. They're kind of developing their strategy on top of that bridge, but something finally clicked at the end that if they're able to just run into the enemy team and use their abilities, they are able to get that kill. And it's funny that you mentioned turtling because there was a tournament a long time ago. I think this was in Kata. And Rekful's team was playing against Dizzyit's team, if anyone knows who those guys are. And Rekful killed Dizzyit and shouted "Turtle all day, idiot!" And I believe it was on this map. So I think maybe Bernie Bro is yelling "Turtle all day, idiot!" But both teams actually deciding to turtle that game. So that was I think again, me myself an idiot is at such an advantage in this matchup that I don't know why they're deciding to take the Resident Sleeper line of play. It's not really benefiting them in any sort of way. If they just simply press their damaging abilities, I think they'll win. Like, they should have won that matchup way sooner.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't agree anymore. But it does look like now that me, myself, and Idiot, they do take that series 2-0. So Politics is going to be the first team in losers round 2 to get knocked out of the tournament. So you played really well. You was playing a really, dare I say, an underpowered comp in comparison to the comps that you was coming up against. They didn't really have a lot of utility that they really brought, especially without the weapon enchants for the Retribution Paladin. And me, myself, and Idiot are progressing through into the losers bracket round 3. And the next series that will be coming up, guys, is Gay Like Turbo versus #Synergy. So the winner of that game will go into losers round 3. And I'm really, really excited to see what's going to happen in this game. So this is going to be, if I've got this right, the Windwalker Mage Priest against the Mage Lock Priest. Now, Moran, this can be speculated on a hell of a lot. But I'd like you to quickly talk me through what you think can happen in this next series.
I definitely think Gay Like Turbo is definitely at a big advantage. I don't think Fail is going to be able to land any sort of casts with in between Fists of Justice and counter spells. Again, I think that's going to be the strategy for Gay Like Turbo. They're just going to sit on the Destro Warlock. Every Fist of Fury is going to be quite scary because Destro Warlocks can't get away from it like their mage can. I definitely expect Gay Like Turbo to just run at the Warlock and just train him from start to finish. And it's going to be very difficult for, even if Whiskey is able to land some polymorphs and kind of peel momentarily, I think they're going to be so far behind on damage, just because Windwalker Monks seem to do so much passive damage. And, during Fist of Fury, too, their DPS spikes a lot. So their main offensive cooldown is both damaging and control cooldown. And so I think, by the second Fist of Fury, when that comes back up again, I think that's going to probably be when Fail dies. But that's not to say that Team Synergy can't win this. I think they just had a tremendous uphill battle versus that Windwalker Monk.
Yeah, I kind of agree with a lot of what you said there, to be honest. I'd like to see Team Synergy taking this next series. But then again, I do like Team Game Like Turbo as well, because I do like the comp run. It's really effective. But I just want to see a Mage Lock Priest actually push through the lower bracket and potentially get to the semi-finals, or at least further on, maybe like the quarterfinals or something. I'm not sure. I'd like to see that. But before we go into these next games, I'd just like to take a look at the brackets right now so you guys know exactly what is going on and what is on the line here. So as you can see, we are now going in the lower bracket, losers round 2, Team Gay Like Turbo against #Synergy, and the winner of this is going to go through into losers round 3 to fight up against me, myself, and Idiot. Now, there's a lot on the line here for both these teams, because if the team that actually loses this series does get knocked out of the tournament, and they will not be able to continue to compete for that cash prize pool that the winning team will take alone. I'm pretty excited with this. It's a big caster comp. I'm all about this. I'm all about this kind of play, Moran. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, but I do once again. I think this is going to be a pretty steep uphill battle for Team Synergy, especially Failgod. I don't think he's going to be allowed to freely do anything this matchup. And again, I think this game was likely to go just towards or just as long as two Fist of Fury cooldowns. So I think if Lupiki can get a trinket very early with the first fist, I think the second fist is definitely going to be quite scary.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And as you can see, the opening damage coming out to Failgod, locked by Team Gay like Turbo. And as you can see, Paperclips is trying to get into a position here so that he can catch Flingod Heal into some kind of CC. The full fist coming out now to Failgod lock, and he does not manage to go down there. Flingod Heal doing a great job at line of sight right here.
Whiskey actually polymorphed Lupiki on his Fist of Fury, so really good job by Whiskey. That's kind of like a consider more advanced level play, recognizing that if he just shuts down that Fist of Fury with a polymorph, it will do 0 damage. So really good play by Whiskey. And so maybe my prediction was wrong. It looks like Robbie Marijuana, or whatever his name is getting chain CC stuck into 3 polymorphs in full fear, and Paperclip's actually going down. Ice Bucket is available. Robbie Marijuana getting put into a Seduce. And right now, it's not a good position for Gay like Turbo, especially if Fail can land any sort of Chaos Bolts or any sort of damage. They're definitely on the back foot.
I completely agree there, but Paperclips is not out of trouble just yet. He is at 50%, managed to get picked back up. Trinket coming out by Robbie Joanna. Full fair out to Lupiki. Heals coming out. Dispel coming out to Lupiki there, taking him out of that full fair. Paperclips has managed to stabilize right here, right now. And it's going to be any time now. Fail Godlock's going to be looking to unload that Chaos Bolt damage into Paperclips with even not having his Ice Block available. Poly coming out here now by Paperclip. Does get denied, though. So really well played there. And the triple to CDR poly coming out onto Lupiki here. It's looking pretty stable at this point, and it's going to be go time very, very soon for Gay Light Turbo. So Team Synergy, they need to be careful with the position. The Chaos Ball is being casted now. It does get denied by that Fist of Fury. Is the Polymorph going to come out to interrupt that Fist of Fury? It doesn't, but no damage is taken onto Fail Godlock there. Full poly sitting out to Robbie Joanna. Paperclips in a lot of trouble. Blazing Speed coming out, trying to get them polys off to peel himself. Half poly coming out onto Robbie Joanna now. Half poly coming out onto Wizgod Mage to deny that follow-up CC, but the full fair coming out onto Robbie Joanna. A lot of trouble. CS come out there onto Wizgod Mage. The Chaos Ball does come out, and Paperclips does go down. Wow, really well played there by Team Synergy. I am absolutely psyched about this. I love the whole Mage Lock synergy and the way that they could just alternate them polys and fears between different players cross CC and executing it really, really well this game. In the first time that we've seen these guys play tonight, they didn't do a great job with it, but this time they are destroying. And I'm really, really happy to see the result of this game. I'm not going to lie. I like the whole
actually, I was about to say, I think Whiskey made a mistake putting the Windwalker Monk on full Polydar. That's why he wasn't able to stop that last fist. But I don't know if this is intentional, but Fail was able to interrupt the Fist of Fury with a Seduce. So he was able to survive. And while that Seduce was happening, there's actually able to be a full polymorph landing onto the healer of Gay like Turbo. So really good job by, again, you mentioned it, that Mage Warlock synergy coming out there in that game. Excellent job by Whiskey and Fail.
Oh yeah, for sure. But needless to say, I'm really impressed by the play from both teams. But I think that the victors of that game was the most deserving. I think that they did the majority of the outplaying in that game. So it's nice to see that you can actually outplay a team and win because you outplay. Because if you look at it on paper, you would think that the Windwalker Mage Priest team, with the setup damage that they potentially have and the CS available, poly onto a Priest, CS onto the lock while they go on the Mage, or CS on the Mage's poly peels whilst fisting onto the lock, it could be really, really good, and get them hard swaps coming out, catching trinkets. But then again, the Seduce could still peel the Fist of Fury at that point. But if you came out with the Blood Elf Silence when there's no trinket available for the Priest on the team that are playing MLP, then they definitely could still score the kills there. So I do think that the outplay was completely played there by the MLP. So I'm happy with that result. I really am. I think we should be getting into the next game real soon. Let me just check, guys, to see if both teams are ready to get back into the next game. Maybe they're going to talk some tactics. And it looks like that both teams are ready, and the queue has pots already. Fantastic stuff. Let's get straight into this next game. And the map of choice, well, the map of random generation is Nagrand Arena.
Yep. And do you know, I was going to say this earlier, but I'm very surprised. Very few teams in this tournament are utilizing killing pets. And I think that could be a huge thing for Gay Turbo is if they, kill that succubus and kill that water elemental. So yeah, Whiskey is playing Frost. And so if they're able to kill those pets on cooldown, it can be really important. And they have to kind of invest a lot to do it, but most healers aren't actually ready to heal pets, especially since they have lower health pools and take, I think, increased damage. So I think potentially that could be some strategy that Gay Turbo might want to utilize, killing that succubus just to, and Fail God would have to hard summon a new one. He is playing I don't know if Destro Warlocks get instant summon at this level. I know they do if they're Affliction, but I'm not sure if they do if they're Destro.
I'm not sure either. But as you can see, the aggressors here now is Team Synergy. The Frost Nova coming out, trying to get in there to get this poly up onto Robbie Joanna. Cole coming out, Frost Nova coming out. He does, guys, and dispel the Nova, but he doesn't manage to get that poly. He does get denied Dispel cut up there onto Whiskey Base. Good job there. Fist of Fury coming out to Fail God Lock, but no damage is actually delivered at that point. Full Polymorph coming out to Lupiki, denying the whole duration of that Fist. Full Fear coming out now to Paper Clips. Half poly onto Lupiki. Are they going to go on Robbie Joanna? What are they trying to do here? We're cross-peeling both the DPS at this point. This is not looking good. There was not a lot of pressure coming out there at all anyway. Full Fear coming out onto Lupiki now. The polymorph coming out there onto Robbie Joanna. Full poly. Paperclip's going to take a ton of damage here, maybe. Double confrag coming out into Paperclips. Chaos Bolt's going to land. Maybe this is going to be Ice Block. I think he managed to blink line of sight there. Really well played there by Paperclips, knowing where his blink was going to take him so that he didn't actually get hit by that Chaos Bolt. The Full Fear now it gets denied at the end. The cast didn't actually go off. I think he got line of sight. Full poly though out onto Lupiki. Full seduce out onto Robbie Joanna. Paperclip's in trouble. This might be Ice Block here that's going to have to come out. Blanket silence. The shield, he managed to pick himself back up. Tyranny trinket right there, and the unused neck, really well played there. But he's not out of trouble just yet. 12%. He does go down there with a confrag crit from Fail Godlock. That was really well played. I don't think he used Ice Block already at that point, Moran.
He didn't use Ice Block. No, he did. He had Ice Block available. I was actually going to comment. I was going to be worried if Gay Turbo was going to overlap the trinket with the Ice Block. The healer on Gay Turbo did decide to trinket the half DR poly, I believe, and I was a bit worried that was going to come out at the same time as the Ice Block, but the Ice Block didn't even come out. I don't think sometimes it can be quite difficult to press your Ice Block keybind if you're on global cooldown. So I'm sure that's what happened. But yeah, really good job. At the end, Team Synergy had almost flawless cross CC. They had a full seduce onto the healer, I believe. At the same time, a full polymorph had landed on the monk. So they had perfect cross CC. And that's the sort of play that, if these spell cleaves are able to execute that, it's really scary and it's really powerful for the enemy team. So if they're able to land that setup, it's definitely a major cooldown from the enemy team.
Yeah, for sure. But it does look like, guys, that we have some very, very, very slight technical issues. So it's looking like we're going to need 2 minutes before we can get into the next games, to be honest. So let me just clarify right now. The scores, I've completely lost track of where the scores are at now. So has it been 2 wins there to Team Synergy? Did they win both of them games? It is. So it does look like the Team Synergy is going to advance into losers round 3, and Gay Turbo, they are going to be knocked out of the tournament, which is such a shame because they are a fantastic team. They've given us a lot of entertainment on today's stream. So it is a shame to see them go, and really well played, you guys. But someone has to go out, and it's your time to go. And Team Synergy advancing into losers round 3 to come up against me, myself, and Idiot. It really does look like the next game is going to be Taco and the Reet versus Zara Larson Fan Club. Maybe you can talk us through that, Moran. Maybe.
Yeah, Taco and the Reets has been playing fantastic throughout this entire tournament. But Zara Larson Fan Club, we didn't see them during the first round, but they came out swinging during round 2. Definitely asserting their dominance over me, myself, and Idiot. So I if I had to say, if I had to pick a team that was favored in this matchup, I'm leaning towards Zara Larson Fan Club. I think they seem to be a bit better coordinated than Dumpster Babies, who I'm sorry. I'm completely messing up. I thought the Gaelic Turbo had played against a Windwalker Mage. I don't think they've played against a Windwalker Mage yet. But again, I'd say I like Zara Larson in this matchup just because they have shown that they are quite powerful with this Windwalker Mage setup.
I do agree with you, Moran. They've exerted their dominance in the previous series that they played, which was against Me, Myself, and Idiot. And you said it at the start in that Me, Myself, and Idiot's first game that they are a great team. That you was like saying to us that some of the players on their team, you arguably the strongest players individually in the tournament from your point of view. But you do have to realize though that when Me, Myself, and Idiot play their next game, they're going to be facing Synergy, and they did beat Synergy 2-0 in the first round. So it's not going to look great here for Team Synergy, but we can get to that at a later point. We need to put the focus on now to Taco and the Reeds and Zara Larson fan club. I'm just going to bring up their team rosters right here. Let me just take a look. So it's Taco and the Reeds and Zara Larson fan club. So we do have the Disc Priest Enhanced Mage team by Zara Larson fan club, which is going to be their strongest comp throughout this whole tournament. They do have Stabil available on the Retribution Paladin if necessary, but without that Crusader enchant available to him, I don't think they're going to want to be bringing him out in any time soon, to be honest, because enhancements deal a lot of damage without these weapon procs.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I completely forgot they're running with that enhance. It was that really weird comp, but yeah, I think they seemed, at least in the matchups we saw earlier, they seemed to play that comp really well. I'm sure it's very stressful to heal against 2 interrupts, especially when there's a purge involved. Again, I like this Zara Larson fan club in this matchup.
I do for sure. I think they are arguably going to be the favourites to win this series, just because of the actual utility that the classes they have available. I think they have a little more utility than the Beast Cleave. But then again, we do like Taco and the Reach. We do like to see this Beast Cleave, and I would like to see them progress further into this tournament. So none of these teams I want to see them be going down to the losers bracket at this point. But one of them is going to have to go down into the losers bracket, guys. And I don't know. Place your votes, guys. Maybe we should get a straw poll going in chat. I'm kind of interested to see what the chat think about what's going on here. So, guys, real quick, I'm going to post a straw poll up any second for you guys. And you guys vote. You tell me, who do you think is going to be the victor of this next series?
Yes, chat. You get to engage in this this democracy we're having right now. All right, we're having a bit of technical difficulties, so we're gonna have that straw poll coming in hot while we get some of the technical stuff worked out.
Yeah, there it is, guys. In chat, the straw poll is in there right now. If you're just wondering, it's not a troll. I'm Bookmark GB in chat. That is a straw poll that I want you guys to answer. So you guys tell me, who do you think is going to win? We're having a slight bit of technical difficulties here, but it will be fixed up very soon because we have got the solution at hand right now.
It looks like chat's favoring Zara Larson fan club. Taco and the Reeds might get a few votes here and there, but it looks like around 60% of our voting stream is deciding to vote for Zara Larson. Again, I think that is the favorite team, just because it's so difficult as a healer to deal with both interrupts. And, again, while I do think it's wise to be playing with Glyph of the Inquisitor, I think you're pretty much forced to play with Glyph of Shadow Magic, that Aura Mastery as the Priest, just because you can't afford to be locked out twice, first by a Counterspell and then by a Wind Shear. So I think we're going to see Glyph of Shadow Magic come out here. I think that's what it's called. It gives you Aura Mastery, makes you immune to interrupts while Fade is active, but gives Fade a 1 minute 30 cooldown or 2 minutes.
That's correct, yes. That is correct.
So yeah, if Zara Larson's able to land, multiple interrupts while having those purges from the Enhancement Shaman, I don't see any way that the Priest on Taco and the Reeds is going to be able to keep his partners up. That being said, Taco and the Reeds seems to do extremely well swapping targets quite sporadically. So perhaps we'll see another swap onto Cancer Dog. I'd venture to say that Perks Fanboy is likely to be the kill target. Perhaps What Is Life could be targeted a bit, but I think, again, they should be looking to shut down those polymorphs from this team of Zara Larson fan club.
Oh, for sure. I couldn't agree anymore. By training that mage, it's going to force him into a position where he can't push in deep and get free polys without being in threat of taking damage or, using some of the defensive cooldowns in exchange for being allowed to push in. They definitely need to be hitting the mage here. And again, we said this last time, with the enhancement shaman, they want to be hitting them clothies because they take so much damage. And it was proved in an earlier series that we had going on before. But the fan favourites today is going to be Zara Larson fan club. So let's see. The gates are just about to open. Let's get straight into it. It looks like that Team Perks fan, they are going to take the pillar to the left side, and a lot of damage is coming out here to the Perks fanboy. Enhancement is managing to connect, dipping down low below 50%. The blink comes out here, and Cancer Dog is managing to get Warstorm coming out by Cancer Dog there to get that cast off, and so much damage coming out onto Perks fanboy, and the block does come out. That Storm Strike is just dipping so much HP out of anyone that he manages to connect to, but the hard swap has been put over now to Outgunned. It does look like that the counter spell does deny the flash heal out from Johnny Bravo, but it does look like he's got a shield and a penance off into Outgun, and they are going to stabilize. Perks fanboy, no ice block available. He's not out of trouble just yet, Moran.
Yeah, so Perks fanboy actually blinking inoffensively, trying to polymorph Johnny Bravo, but it was stopped by Outgun, which is fancy. I think he stopped it with a counter shot. So really good job by Fancy, really good play. Perks fanboy dropping extremely low, and I don't think, unfortunately, there's no CC on, or fortunately for them, there's no CC on the Cancer Dog. But actually, a Warstorm swap onto Cancer Dog, dipping a bit low. He is going to get Spectral Guys away. He should be fine, but I'm guessing we're going to see a lot of damage coming onto Perks fanboy. It doesn't look like he's able to get out any sort of CC on the Johnny Bravo. Bracket's so bad, dipping a bit low. Johnny Bravo just chain casting those heals. Perks fanboy dropping a bit low with Cancer in that full trap. Perks fanboy should be going down. He does die. So really good job by Attack on the Reeds getting some CC out on the Cancer Dog and then putting some pressure onto the mage.
Yeah, it was really great plays there by Taco and the Reach. They'd managed to catch Cancer's Trinket earlier on in the game, and they knew that the next trap was kill. That was go time. They were just waiting for everything to be off cooldown and to make sure, that Johnny Bravo was making sure that he was in a stable state of health so they could push in there and execute the kill combo, which actually did get landed down there, making the mage go down. So yeah, it was really good play there by Team Taco and the Reeds. The underdogs prevail. Are we surprised? I don't know. I'm not surprised. Taco and the Reeds, they are a strong side. Arguably because Zara Larson Fan Club is an EU team, people could speculate on MS advantages or something. I'm not too sure how that's working, but either team know that they do get the opportunity to play on different servers and stuff like that.
So the mage Perks chose to play a very aggressive route, which is blinking in on top of Johnny Bravo, attempting to land a polymorph cast in the center of the map. Unfortunately, again, that did get countershotted, I believe. So really good job, really good map awareness by Fancy, able to lock down that poly. But again, I thought Zara Larson was the favorite in this matchup. Perhaps it could have something to do with the map. Again, I think that map is quite difficult for a mage, simply because the healer has so many ways to line of sight, and the team can kite so well on that map. So I think if they get a map that's something like Tolvaron Arena or something, or Nagrand, something more open, I think they could definitely have they'll have an advantage in this matchup. Map wise, and I wanted to mention, I didn't get the chance to say this at the beginning of the game. Both priests are actually playing with Glyph of the Inquisitor. We've both been, me and Blackout here have been calling it Shadow Word Death. So that's kind of like something from the past. So priests used to use Shadow Word Death to do damage to them. Do damage to themselves, to avoid things like polymorphs, traps, blinds, things like that. The spell is unavailable to Disc Priest nowadays, but you can use a Holy Fire to do damage to yourself, which is basically the same thing, though it does have you have to be facing the target, and has, I think, a shorter range. I'm not sure, But so if we say Shadow Word Death, if we say death, we're referring to Holy Fire. I think I saw some confusion about that much earlier on. It's just easier to say death than to say, oh, he glyph of the Inquisitor, that polymorph cast. And it's easier to just say, oh, he death that poly. So
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But I think everyone kind of knows it as Shadow Word Death, whether or not they played at a time when it was Shadow Word Death. It's kind of like the same thing with Paladins and their blessings. You know, you've got Bop and Sack
Yep.
and stuff like that. People was calling it Bop when it was actually Hop. You know, Hand of
Yeah.
Protection, because it used to be Blessing of Protection, but people still called it Bop, and I think everyone's used to these terminologies. You know, so it's just, you know, it's, I think everyone's kind of understanding what we mean when we say death that poly or whatever. I don't think we're going to have too many new people in here. Someone's posted a straw poll. A moderator's put a straw poll in this chat. I want to check out what this is real quick and see if it's going to be relevant. Oh, he's reposted our straw poll, and it's still looking that Team Zara Larson are the favourites to win this, according to the crowd. Pretty interesting.
Yeah. Oh, do you remember that before dampening, there's that buff, the crowd chose you. I don't know if you remember that at all. For those who didn't get to experience that, I think it was in MOP. I don't remember, but instead of dampening, what would happen is I think games were capped at 25 minutes, and if a kill hadn't been landed in 25 minutes, one team would receive a buff called the crowd chose you. And if you've ever played Super Smash Bros, it's basically like the equivalent of sudden death, but only one team having sudden death, only one team taking increased damage. And so it was just a really goofy way to handle long games. And the buff was given to the team that was able to drop someone on the enemy team the lowest. So if one team got to 10% and the other team got to 15% throughout the matchup, the team that got to 15% would get this buff that increased their damage. It was kind of a crazy way to deal with long games. But nowadays we have dampening, which is a bit more fair, not as exciting if you ask me. But yeah, I don't think we'll see. We saw a deep dampening game earlier, but I don't think that was because of the matchup itself. I think it was just because of the way the teams were approaching that matchup.
Yeah,
but again, I think in this matchup that we're seeing right now, I think if we get a map like Nagrand, we do get Dalaran again. I was going to say if we get a map like Nagrand or Tolvaron, I think that would be a good map for Zara Larson fan club. Unfortunately, I do think they get countered by this map yet again. I think it's going to be very difficult for Perks Fanboy to land full polys onto Johnny Bravo.
I think so too. It's going to be very difficult for Perks in this game, but we'll see how it pans out. So as we see, the fight has gone off and damage is being put out onto Perks Fanboy by Team Taco and the Reeds, but some counter damage is going back into bracket so bad. He's dropping down below 70% there, but it does look like he's kind of stabilizing. But he does look like Outgun disengaged off the edge there. I'm not really sure why, but Perks Fanboy taking a lot of damage. Full trap coming out to Cancer Dog. The trinket comes out, and Perks does go down. He does go down in that global there, where he was just having to get that trinket off. He died to the Storm Strike because it does so much damage. I did say, this team, they do a lot of damage playing that Beast Cleave comp. They might not have as much CC as any mage composition, but they're a little more tanky and a hell of a ton more bursty. It doesn't surprise me.
I think Perks just got a bit late. He got a bit too aggressive there, again, deciding to blink into the center of the map, trying to polymorph Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo is actually able to Spectral Guise the first poly, and Perks may have just kind of sat there wondering what the hell is going on. And he did get punished for that arguably poor positioning by him. So I guess the crowd was wrong. The crowd chose and I guess I chose the wrong team to win this matchup. So I think, Zara Larson advancing, getting out of that losers bracket. That was 2 games, right?
That was 2 games, and Taco and the Reeds does advance into the finals. Believe it or not, we have a Beast Cleave in the finals, guys. Despite popular belief, not all mage teams will be the first teams to get into the finals. We might not even see a mage team in the finals at this point. But next up, we've got Me, Myself, and Idiot versus #Synergy. This series has already happened in the first round of the upper bracket, where Team Synergy did lose 2-0 to Team Myself and Idiot. So going off what's the track record already, it looks like that me, myself, and Idiot do have this game in the bag. But then again, it's up to speculation. Maybe Team Synergy, they've rethought some tactics and they're going to go into this a lot more prepared. And maybe they can turn it around after the last series that we watched from this Mage Lot pre-scene. They really impressed us. You know, they went in there as the underdogs and they reigned supreme against the team Gay-like Turbo. So, I don't know. This could go either way, this series, Big Moran. It really could.
Yeah, but once again, I think the Idiot's play style in the first, so playing offensively definitely worked out for him in their first meeting in round one. So I don't expect any sort of strategy changes from me, myself, and Idiot's team. I do think Idiot's just going to be playing extremely aggressive, and I don't think Synergy is going to have an easy way to deal with that. It basically comes down to Idiot making a mistake, getting polyed, and if they can somehow land a polymorph or full fear onto Idiot, I think that'd be the only way that they could get something going. If not, I think Idiot's just gonna have free reign, just doing damage in cat form, getting those huge ferocious bites. I venture to say that's gonna be. We're gonna see exactly the same strategies from his team.
Yeah. I do believe that we're going to have to take a minute here, guys. For us being the spectators, we need to swap faction here so that we can actually get into these games, because I do believe both teams are hard teams. So we're just going to have to log over real quick and reassemble a spectating group, and then we can get right into these games, because it does seem like both teams are ready to go at this point, which is really good. I must say, Big Moran, this tournament this time round, it's the first tournament in the 29 bracket, I do believe, but Living Force, he is the tournament organizer, and he has been known in the past to, host tournaments, and he's got a fair bit of experience with hosting these kind of tournaments, and it's gone pretty smoothly today. I do think the transitions between game to game has gone pretty smooth. Not much delay in between games. I'm pretty impressed for the first time it being within the 29 bracket with these players as well.
Yeah, and it can be quite. I can chat is saying, "Oh, that's bogus! Like this tournament is such poor production. Like, look at the time between these games." But there's a lot going on in the background that the chat doesn't see, and it is a bit more tricky than just simply queuing up. There's a lot that can go wrong along the way. The spectator client for this game is relatively new, and it does get a bit buggy. And, we don't really have any easy way to transition between Horde and Alliance queues other than by simply just logging over and getting the group going back again. So, yeah. Oh, okay. So I did get word that we are relogging to reset the position of where we queue from, because depending on where the spectators are from, it will determine what the MS will be for the arena. So we try to keep it as fair as possible.
It's right. We're trying to do our best to give each team the same amount of latency issues, because you do realize this is like taking part on the US realms. It is a US tournament, but there are European, Australian players that are taking part in this tournament, so we have to keep it as fair as possible between the two teams. So we have to figure out who and where the players of the teams are from, and depending on who goes up against who, we have to figure out where's the mutual ground to host these games on, which kind of sometimes can be where the technical difficulties come from. But it's very quickly, as proven today, it's been quickly sorted and solved a lot of the time. So yeah, we're just fixing that up right now. It shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes, so we'll be getting into these games really shortly.
I just want to quickly actually give a shout out to Living Force, spurring some arena competitive activity in the 29 bracket. I know Living Force loves his arenas, and so that's his domain. So it's he's putting his paycheck to his passion, so that's really respectable. So really big shout out to Living Force for getting this whole thing organized. Big respect, my man.
Yeah, big love for Living Force, but there are a lot of other people behind the scenes that are doing their best to help the fluidity of this tournament as well. So thanks to all of the guys that are taking part in this today. But anyway, guys, we are in to the first game. I told you we wouldn't be waiting around long. We've got the great team on it, and it is me, myself, and Idiot versus Team Synergy. So we're going to be running this Mage, Hunter, Resto Druid versus the Priest, Destro Warlock, and Frost Mage. So how does this go? I'm all Team Synergy. I love a caster comp. You know, Mage Lock X is like my favorite comp, like to watch, to play at any level, because like in Wrathful, I used to play a lot of Mage Lock and I really enjoyed it back then. I've got a bit of a soft spot for this kind of comp.
Yeah.
But anyway, the game is getting underway, and already WizK is blinking and using blazing speed. Poly coming out from Idiot Mage onto WizK. He does get trinketed up, and the Poly's coming out into Idiot Mage here. Damage is going to Ezreon. He does get hotted up though by Idiot, and he is in cat form, denying them Polymorphs that could potentially come out from WizK God Mage. A double Frost Nova has come out there by both mages. Idiot Mage sitting this full Frost Nova right now. Flynn God, as you can see, he's got great positioning there on the middle stump. The half here is coming out onto Idiot Mage as well. Ezreon is stabilizing around 50% HP right now. He's looking okay. Full Polymorph comes out into Idiot. He trinkets and he goes into a repoly here. Ezreon is desperately trying to use line of sight to do whatever he can to mitigate the damage taken. Warstomp coming out by Idiot here. Regrowth going off onto Ezreon there. Looks like they're going to recover, but the pressure is not completely gone there from Fail God Lock. He is taking some significant damage as well. It's going either way. Full Polymorph coming out to Idiot Mage. Does get hit by the Dispel there. Damage. WizK God Mage pumping out those Frostbolts there. Into Ezreon to try and get as much damage as he can as possible. CS came out there, and I think that was he got denied on the Polymorph there by WizK Mage. So that was really a good play there by Idiot Mage. WizK Mage is sitting a full Polymorph right now. The whole of Team Me, myself, and Idiot are stabilizing. Fail God Lock is taking a ton of damage right now. This is their go. 20%, 30%, 19%. Is the bite going to come in anytime soon? They're coming out onto the Mage. 2%, he does go down. Insane plays. Wow, that was it, you know? Like Idiot's team, they managed to get that perfect setup that they wanted, get the 4 stacks on the arcane charges, have the 5 points, and just unload in a CC chain all of their damage into the one play on the enemy team. It's been consistently their strategy, and it's working out really, really well for them throughout this tournament.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised at the beginning of that game. WizKey deciding to play very aggressive. It seemed like their whole team deciding to push in, and I think that caught Idiot's team a bit off foot, a little bit, because I don't think they're used to a mage blinking in and trying to get some polymorphs off. So they did fall. It seemed like they're under a bit of pressure for a while. Idiot actually was put into a full sheep, which he trinketed, but WizKey having the foresight to cast another sheep, predicting that trinket. So Idiot getting put into a half TR sheep, and then the Warlock was trying to follow that up with a Fear, but it did get interrupted, I believe, by an Arcane Torrent and then a War Stomp, and then Idiot was able to blink away. So really good play by me, myself, and Idiot, utilizing those racials to deny the Fear from Fail God, because I'm sure that if that Fear would have landed, we would have seen a different outcome for that match.
For sure, I do think so too. He did a really good job in denying that, like you said. But it does look like, guys, we are in to the next game. 1-0 to see me, myself, and Idiot. All they have to do is win this game, and they are going to advance into the losers round 4, which is the semi-finals in the losers bracket. This is pretty exciting. There's a lot on the line here now for both teams, especially Team Synergy being behind that 1 point. And this could potentially be the winning game. Synergy really need to pull the socks up here and do the best that they can to win this game to keep themselves in the tournament. Yeah,
and I think if Idiot again needs to utilize the strength of his team to playing as aggressive as possible, I think that's going to win them this matchup. It's certainly that 5-point Ferocious Bite won them last matchup. Idiot already doing some damage into cat form, getting a little bit of damage going. I don't think he got that many points. I think he just got 1 point. Opting to play a bit more defensively. Again, going into cat form, I don't think he's able to build any points right away. And it looks like a full Seducer, just chain CCing Idiot Mage, denying some of those early polymorph casts. I don't know if Idiot Mage got his... He did use Palm. I don't know if it landed onto Flynn God. I doubt it was... It might have been deft again. I'm not sure, but I don't know what happened to the Palm from Idiot Mage.
I'm not sure what happened there either, but as you can see, the Chaos Bolt's coming out now for Fail Godlock, and he does go off into the Idiot, the Resto Druid, but he does manage to Swift Wend and get LOS and pick himself back up here. But as you can see, WizKid God, he's hot on his tail, trying to deny him from getting them heals out. He doesn't use his counter spell there, though, so that was a really good choice, because it did look like the Idiot managed to stabilize full poly here, coming out into Idiot Mage. Does get dispelled up, half poly coming out again onto Idiot Mage, and there's going to be a polymorph that's trying to come out here by Idiot Mage, but he does get denied there. Fail Godlock is dipping down below 60%. Now the penance coming out from Fling God Heal, trying to stabilize Fail Godlock. They're in a lot of trouble here. Idiot Maybe's going to go cat form and get the bite off. There it is. There's the cat form, the potential bite, the full trap onto Fling God Heal, and Fail Godlock might go down here, and he does go down. Idiot took his opportunity with that big cat form bite, and he managed to get him down. Insanely good plays there by me, myself, and Idiot. Wow. it's just a repeat of the first time that these guys played. There's not a lot that Team Synergy could do. They did fight, they did try, they did their best, but again, they did get knocked out of this tournament. It's a real shame to see them go. They was like my favorites in this tournament. I love that composition. Yeah. It's a shame to see them go, but exceptionally good play there by me, myself, and Idiot for sure.
Idiot relegated with the Ferocious Bite for a lot of damage, and I know a lot of people. I saw this in chat a while back, complaining about Ferocious Bite damage, but it's you got to understand, it's a really big investment for Idiot. He has to get, if he wants to do a 5-point bite, he has to get all 5 of those points, which certainly isn't easy, considering his team is taking damage. He has to avoid polys while shifting in and out of cat form, and it's quite difficult to actually set that up. And so, really good play by him. I think it's if you're able to set that up, I think it's well deserving of the damage it's able to do. So, really good play by Idiot, recognizing an opportunity to start playing offensively.
Yeah, I agree totally with that. It's a very difficult role to play the wrestler during that composition with that kind of niche strategy that they're going for, trying to catch a trinket and then trying to get all the CC lined up, all the damage available, and just explode in the next CC, the full CC that they have available. It's pretty difficult to get that lined up, but they're managing to do it very consistently. So really, really good job. I'm impressed by Team myself, and Idiot.
And I think the next game we're going to see is Zara Larson versus myself, and Idiot. And we saw this matchup get played earlier, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And Zara Larson took that match. It seemed fairly easy. So perhaps me, myself, and Idiot is going to switch it up a bit.
If I remember rightly, what was happening there, though, Moran, the Team Zara Larson, they was rocking the Mage Enhanced team, if I'm correct. So that Mage Enhanced team, that does, it's really, really difficult for Team Idiot Idiot himself on the team to actually heal through that damage because of all the dispels. You got the Disc Priest dispel, you got the Enhancement dispelling, you got double interrupt to worry about. So if they actually manage to swap onto Idiot himself, he's going to be pretty much sat in bare form praying for peels by his team, but I don't think they're going to have enough peels for him to be able to out-heal that very easily. It's not like he has Meld, because he's playing on that Horde race, bear in mind. He's got the War Stomp, but if Trinkets are available at that point, he could potentially go down there. It's going to be really hard for him to get casts off if they decide to hit someone else. And as you've seen already, that enhancement burst damage, it's hella hard. So I don't know. It's not looking really good here for Team Me, myself, and Idiot. I think the Zara Larson is going to be the favorite to win here. But we'll have to see. We're going to get into these games really soon. We just gotta do our stuff with the spectators. So we should be getting into the game any second now, guys. Just be a little more patient with us. And we'll get this semi-finals in the losers round underway.
Yeah, and if Zara Larson does pull this off, they'll be in the finals versus Taco and the Reeds, but of course they'll be at a game disadvantage due to them coming up through the losers finals. But the winner of this series, nonetheless, goes into the winners bracket to fight against Taco and the Reeds. So we're coming up on the end of this tournament. So thanks to everyone for sticking with us to this point, and we're just trying to sort some things out to get this game going. So yeah, I do like me, myself, and Idiot's play style. Specifically, Idiot doing lots of damage in a cat form. Again, I know that some people have been complaining that Ferocious Bite is broken, but again, it's a pretty big investment, and really, mad respect for him deciding to play that Resto Druid. And so that's what I play at endgame mostly. I've been a Resto Druid main for quite some time, actually, since Season 4 of Burning Crusade. So it's been a while since I've been playing Resto Druid. And so that's, anytime I see a Resto Druid in these lower brackets, a tear comes to my eye. So that isn't to say that the team Zara Larson doesn't deserve to win this next matchup if they do so. They've certainly been playing well.
I agree. But it looks like the spectators, we're going to have to jump over to the Alliance side now, apparently, because it is an Alliance team that we're going to have to queue up for to get the right servers here. So we're just jumping over there now. And once we reform this group, it looks like that we should be able to jump straight into this next game, because I do believe that both teams are ready. I just have to confirm that, though, with the team. Let me just ask now.
Yeah, I need to log over. Sorry for the wait. I wasn't reading my chat. It's very difficult for me to read. So we should be getting into the next game anytime soon. Again, it's me, myself, an idiot who has been running that Survival Hunter Frost Mage Arcane Mage, I believe, Resto Druid, against Team Zara Larson, who has been playing Enhancement Shaman Mage, Disc Priest. So very interesting, and two interesting comps, to say the least. Not something I'd expect people to be running, but I guess both these teams have sort of found what their strengths are and have been utilizing them throughout this entire tournament.
Yeah, for sure. It does look like that we have got the queue and the pop is there, and we're going to be heading into Ruins of Lordaeron as the first random generated map choice. But for both of these teams, I think this is going to be a pretty interesting map, with it being very open field with small places of line of sight on the left and the right side. I don't know how this is going to pan out for me, myself, an idiot here, because it's going to make it a lot easier for the mage to get CC here, I do believe, because with that tome at the middle, they can LOS damage there. Either team can LOS some damage there, but at the same time, you can walk over that LOS. It's the only map that we have where you can run over the line of sight.
And actually, me, myself, an idiot, playing with an Enhancement Shaman Hunter. So changing their comps, deciding not to play with that mage, and I honestly agree with that. They definitely struggled versus Zara Larson fan club last time they met up while playing with a mage, and I think having that Enhancement Shaman damage is significant. The ability to just do tons of damage to Perks Fanboy while locking him down with Wind Shears is more than enough to keep him at bay throughout this entire match.
Yeah, I agree. And it looks like the Pom Poly did come out there. No, I think I was right with that Pom Poly. No, it wasn't. It's not an Arcane Mage. I got that wrong. But anyway, a full Poly's coming out and such on Small Cranium. A lot of damage going into Ezeron's here, dropping below 50%, managing to get stabilized a little bit by Idiot. But he is sitting in cat form. He's trying to get his points, and Ezeron is just surviving on just one hop right here. The Ice Block coming out, though, by Perks Fanboy. This is huge. Idiot didn't use his bite there. He's still got all of those combo points ready for the next go. Ezeron is getting chunked down now. Full Poly coming out into Small Cranium. He does get dispelled up there, I believe. No, that was a trinket that came out there, but Ezeron's not out of trouble just yet. Neither is Perks Fanboy. So much damage going into him here. He could potentially go down, dipping down to 70%, getting stabilized a little bit here. He did get denied on the cast Cancer Dog, and that causes the mage to go down, but it's a cross kill. The Hunter and the mage has gone down. This is a 2v2 situation. This is Resto Druid Enhancement versus Enhancement Disc. Moran, how is this going to play out?
I actually want to see Idiot getting some points, because I do think that if Idiot's able to get some points, that's going to be really huge. Right now, he's deciding to cast Rats. I want to see him just start doing some damage in cat form. Training Cancer Dog, I think that's the right play to just train that Disc Priest. Of course, it is difficult to deal with this Enhanced Shaman damage and the Purges as a Resto Druid, but I think right now, if you're an Idiot, you just be getting points, looking to do some sort of damage onto Cancer Dog, trying to kill him during a lockout. He does get interrupted on his flash heal, and What Is Life is taking a bit of damage. It looks like Small Cranium's trying to connect on the Cancer Dog. I like that strategy. If you can just keep up the purges, keep up the interrupts, and if Idiot can do any sort of damage, I really think that's going to play out well for them. Idiot opting to spam cast Entangling Roots. And again, Small Cranium isn't taking that much damage. I really think Idiot should be looking at get some cat form damage. Actually, Small Cranium dipping quite low. Idiot getting locked out on his regrowth cast by that Wind Shear. And right now, Cancer Dog is just pumping out some damage, and we're seeing a lot of back and forth between both these Enhancement Shamans.
Yeah, he's so back and forth right now, but What Is Life taking a lot of damage as well. He's sitting around 30% HP, managing to get picked up, though, by Cancer Dog. Just free casting them flash heals out, really well played by him. But he kind of needs to top himself just in case a swap manages to come out over onto him. Small Cranium now sitting around 70%, but he does get picked back up. He's really stable at this point. I do think that both teams need to be going on the healers at this point. Cancer should be the target of choice for Small Cranium, and Idiot should be the target of choice for What Is Life, potentially with a hard swap penance onto him when they manage to get Idiot a little low, because at the moment he's just free casting these hots and it's costing so much mana and so many globals to actually purge all of those hots off. Look at what his life state of mana. If he gets to the point where he's forced to heal again, he's going to have not enough mana to cast some of his abilities at this point. He needs to be able to drop combat realistically so that he can pick his mana up to continue.
And I know Idiot is getting combo points again. Say, I know he had some from before. He does get another combo point right there. I think they're just waiting for an interrupt onto Cancer Dog. I do think he just took a full win share, but maybe the next interrupt, Idiot's going to look to push in and get a Ferocious Bite. What is life dipping to below 40%? Cancer Dog is able to top him a bit. What is life throwing off some heals? But now, once again, as you mentioned, he is almost out of mana. I know their spells don't cost that much, but a huge Ferocious Bite coming out from Idiot. Really well played by Idiot there. And that's exactly what I was talking about when this started developing into a 2v2. I think, Idiot utilizing his damage is what was going to win him that match, and that's exactly what happened, getting that Ferocious Bite. I don't know how many points he had, but he definitely had more than 3. So really good play by Idiot, just getting out that damage while the Shaman was certainly far away from his healer, not in any sort of defensive position whatsoever.
For sure. And what a turn of events this has turned out to be. They got beat earlier by Team Zara Larson 2-0, whereas now they took the first game in this series. Maybe they found a tactic. Maybe they have a new angle. They've obviously talked a lot of things over, and it's kind of working for them. Me, myself, and Idiot may not be the underdogs that we thought that they'd be. They was that black horse, but now, who knows? They are one game ahead going into the semi-finals game.
Yeah, and certainly that's an excellent position for them to be in, especially since they are running what is arguably the more aggressive comp. I think if you're running a more aggressive comp like they are, it really, obviously it's good to be one game ahead, but especially when you're running an aggressive comp, because you got to understand that this team of Zara Larson is likely really nervous at this point in time. And so dealing with an aggressive comp while being nervous, while being threatened to get knocked out of this tournament is very difficult to deal with. That's something certainly I faced during last year's Twink Cup Arena finals. I know going into the finals, I was incredibly nervous, especially when it was match point. So, when you're playing into those conditions, you tend to make mistakes. So definitely a really good position for me, myself, and Idiot to be in this losers bracket finals, up one game against Zara Larson.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I've experienced that myself. I played in the Twin Cup last year as well, played in a couple of tournaments myself, and you do feel the pressure, you really do. But the gates are about to open, and we are on Dalaran Sua's arena. Let's see who is going to take this next game.
No, it's a best of 5. So we're getting word that it's a best of 5. So this isn't match point quite yet. Idiot already doing some damage in cat form. I do think he has at least 2 points right now, possibly 3. So perhaps we're going to see some big damage onto Perks Fanboy if he's able to connect once Idiot's team is able to stabilize on health pools. Ezreal dipping a bit low from that Enhancement Shaman, Lava Lash, and Storm Strike. But Idiot, once again, going in for some cat form damage. Ezreal dipping a bit low, so once Idiot can stabilize his team's health pools, he should be able to turn around and get some offensive damage going in. Idiot, unfortunately, does get locked up. Ezreal getting War Stomped on his disengage. I don't know if that was intentional, but really good job. And Perks Fanboy got dipping a bit low. Passively is hovering at around 60%. So perhaps Idiot right now should be the opportunity to get a bite. Idiot, once again, getting some damage with Ferocious Bite onto What Is Life, dipping down quite low. See if Cancer Dog gets interrupted. He does get trapped. It's really bad. He is going to actually trigger that, but to no avail, his partner does go down. So that happened all relatively quick. Idiot did get a Ferocious Bite. At the same time, a trap landed on Cancer Dog from Ezreal. Really good play by this team of me, myself, and Idiot, kind of utilizing this combination of damage and control.
Yeah, I was watching what was going on there. I was watching the point of view from the mage's perspective, and all that he seemed to be doing the whole game was Kona Cold and Frostbolt kiting the enemy team's Enhancement Shaman. Now, what they was trying to do, I think they was trying to split them so that the Enhancement Shaman and the Priest was going in a 2-on-2 against the Resto Druid and the Enhancement. Because what happened is that the Enhancement on the Resto Druid team, he managed to dip down a little bit low. But then the counter pressure came out up over onto Zara Larson's Enhancement Shaman. At which point was when the Enhancement from the opposite team did turn around and then just was like, okay, let's just finish this job off. and the full trap did land onto Cancer. He trinketed instantaneously, but it was enough to interrupt him. Stall for that little bit amount of time that he needed before his Shaman went down. And it was a real shame. It was very messy by the looks of things by Team Kara Larson for sure. I think that they need to step up their game there. I think they had a lot of miscommunication issues there for sure, because one player was playing super defensive, the other one was playing super offensive throughout the whole of the game. I think, Team Zara Larson, apparently, I'm getting word, have gone offline. I think they believe that it is a best of 3 and they think that it's done. I don't think that they was aware that it is a best of 5 and they still are in the tournament, guys. So if any of you guys are watching this game, Zara Larson, you guys need to get back on because you guys are not out of this tournament just yet. It is a best of 5. You have at least one more game to go to potentially turn this round and get yourself a spot in the finals.
Yeah, and even though they're down 2 games, you definitely can't count them out because that enhancement shaman damage combined with the mage counter spells and polymorphs is definitely nothing to discount. So they definitely can take the series back if they so choose, but we're gonna have to see if Zara Larson even logs back online. Again, I think it might have been just some miscommunication, misunderstanding on their part.
Apparently, we're getting word in now saying that they are coming back online. The Enhanced thought it was a best of 3, which is why some of the players logged off. So they are logging back on and they are going to continue to fight in the semi-finals of the losers bracket. It's not over just yet. It's not a forfeit. They didn't rage quit. They are going to be back. It was just they wasn't aware of what the situation was. Just like we wasn't. At the start of that game, we got word saying that it is a best of 5 as well. So me and Moran here, we thought it was a best of 3, but it looks like we're back in the queue and we're back in Dalaran Sewers, guys. So they got back on instantly, knowing that they still have a fighting chance to get into the finals of this tournament.
Can you even get 12 around as an arena at this level?
No.
Maybe you can, yeah. Okay, that's what I was gonna say. We haven't seen 12 around or Tiger's Peak at all, but I guess those are reserved for other brackets. So anyway, I was not aware that happened that way. I guess that kind of makes sense because when you play 19 Arena, you only get 3 maps, it seems. So anyway, going back on a Dalaran Arena, and I do think this is a terrible map for this mage. So not looking good for a Zara Larson fan club going into this could potentially what is the last game of this series. Again, I mentioned it before, but I think Me, Myself, and Idiot, with the way they play that aggressive approach to this matchup, it does favor them to be ahead in points. So I want to see, again, some damage coming out from Idiot because that has seemed to be winning them almost all their games, at least in this series and throughout this entire tournament.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to see some good positioning from the mage here to try and drag the plays out of position from Team Me, Myself, and Idiot. But the game is off, and Ezra's taking a lot of damage here. Stabilize now, full poly coming out now onto the small cranium. But as you can see, Ezra is still at 60% health, and Perks Fanboy is taking a ton of damage there. Trinket coming out from Cancer, and he manages to pick Perks Fanboy back up without having to invest that block, but maybe the block is going to come at this point. I'm not sure. He does get denied on that flash heal, and the block does come out. The wind shear did go off there onto Cancer's heal. Really well played there by Small Cranium. I'm hoping that at this point that Team Zara Larson can throw the momentum over onto Team Myself and Idiot, but Ezron still sitting around 65% HP. Idiot is not really taking the opportunity that he has to actually top him at this point. He needs to be casting some of them Regos, and that's it now. They're going to manage to connect onto Ezron. The Frost Shock does get dispelled there by Idiot, and the full poly is going to come out onto Small Cranium. And he does get dispelled again. I think he's playing with a double dispel grid. Everzeron is dipping down super low here. Holy Fire coming out as well for additional damage. Full trap coming out to Cancer Dog. This means that Perks Fanboy is going to be in a lot of trouble here. The CS does come out there onto Small Cranium. Is he going to go down at this point? Cancer dumping in that Penance Power Shield coming out. And the Polymorph cast does go off onto Small Cranium, but he does get instantly dispelled. And the Mage does go down. Wow, really well played there by Me, Myself, and Idiot. It looked like the Team Zara Larson at that point was just about getting an opportunity to turn that round, but Team Me, Myself, and Idiot was like, no, we're going to deny you of this opportunity. We're just going to throw this damage straight back into you, landing that full trap and managing to score the kill off it. That was really well played by them. And I don't think it comes as a surprise after the previous 2 games that we've seen in this series. So yeah, it looks like that Team Me, Myself, and Idiot are going to go into the finals, guys. And I'm sorry to say that Team Zara Larson, you guys are going to be knocked out of this time's tournament. Really, really great team all the way through and throughout. They done a lot of good games, provide a lot of great entertainment. But I'm sorry, guys, your time is up, and me, myself, and Idiot are going to progress into the finals, which is also going to be a best of 5 against Taco and the Reets.
So it looks like we might be doing 2 best of 5 series to determine who the winner is going to be. If Taco and the Reeds wins the first best of 5, they'll win the tournament. But if they lose the first best of 5, they'll be going to a second best of 5. But we're trying to get some confirmation as to what the official ruling is going to be for the final matchup. But again, we know what the teams are going to be. It's going to be Taco and the Reeds versus me, myself, and Idiot. So again, I think me, myself, and Idiot has shown to be incredibly strong with that Enhancement Shaman Survival Hunter. I know they're running that mage for the longest time, but I do, despite mage being an incredibly powerful tool with polymorphs and counterspells, it's such a difficult thing to play. It's very unforgiving, and having that Enhancement Shaman is a bit more like well-rounded, if you ask me. You're able to put out a lot of pressure, and these games, it's difficult for these healers to deal with the damage, and especially it's difficult to deal with damage while getting interrupted. So I think playing with that enhancement shaman, going to the series, I wouldn't see anything. I would definitely expect to see, and I guess you'd call it a Beast Cleave mirror. We're going to have a Beast Cleave from both teams, and with the minor difference being that the healer for me, myself, and Idiot is a Resto Druid, and the healer for Taco and the Reets is a Disc Priest.
Yeah, that would. I mean, if it was me, that's kind of like the path that I would go with me, myself, and Idiot for sure. But we'll just have to see how that pans out. And by the looks of things, guys, Big Moran was correct with the way that this finals is going to work. What's going to happen, because Taco and the Reets, they progress to the finals through the upper bracket. They are going to have a 1 series head start. So what that means is it's a best of 2, best of 5 series. So for example, if Taco and the Reets win the first best of 5 series, they win the tournament and they take the cash prize. However, if me, myself, and Idiot, they win the first series, then another best of 5 series has to happen to determine who the winner will be. And I'm not sure what's going to happen if Taco and the Reets win. No, if Taco and the Reets win that second best of 5, they would technically have won 2 because they start with 1 best of 5 under their belt. So yeah, there's only going to be potentially a maximum of 2 best of 5 series going on right now, guys. So sit tight. This could be an extremely long but thoroughly entertaining finals for this time round tournament.
Yeah, and so I'm sure some people are wondering why we're deciding to run 2 best of 5 series, and the reason being is if we only had 1 series to determine, like 1 best of 5 series to determine the outcome of the tournament, it's potential that Taco and the Reets could lose the tournament despite only losing 1 series, while every other team had lost. It doesn't. Some people make the argument that it's more fair to have 2 separate best of 5 series, so that the team that loses the tournament is the team that loses 2 series, because a team could potentially win. Taco and the Reeds could potentially be knocked out, even though they only lost 1 series. So it's trying to kind of eliminate that problem that a lot of people have brought up in the past.
I think it's a really good format to run with, to be honest, because it would be unfair if Taco and the Reets lost the first best of 5 and then they was out of the tournament, and they've not lost the game up until that point. Whereas everyone else who came through the losers bracket, they've already lost the game further down in the tournament. So it's only fair that it's panned out this way. But this is going to be pretty exciting. I can't wait to see these 2 teams going head to head. And I don't believe that they have fought together before at all. So this is going to be a completely fresh series with 2 fantastically performing teams going head to head in the finals right now. And let's see how this is going to pan out. Guys in chat, who are you voting for? Who are you vouching for? Give that team your energy. It looks like that we're going to have to do a relog by the looks of things. I'm getting some word at the moment. I'm not sure exactly what's going to go on. No, we should be getting into this game very, very shortly, within the next minute or so, actually, just receiving word. So that's looking fine. There's not a technical difficulty that we thought that was at this point. So, yeah, Moran, I'm pretty psyched. I'm pretty psyched about this.
Yeah, and if you were to ask me going into this tournament what sort of classes would have had an advantage, I would have said Windwalker Monk. I was, I'm not too familiar with the 29 bracket, but the damage of Fist of Fury is so high at this level. But it looks like Enhancement Shamans and Hunters have been MVP of this tournament. And here we have a finals, which potentially could be a mirror matchup between two Enhancement Shaman Hunter teams. So that came as a bit of a surprise for me. We both Blackout and I primarily play the 19 bracket, and you don't see that many Enhancement Shamans being played. I know they're really strong at 39. So I guess right now it's kind of in that in between. So they're again really powerful at this bracket just because they have so many tools and such high damage.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to be looking though. For Team Me, Myself, and Idiot, just because they're running with the Resto Druid. Yeah, the whole bite combo is great, but the amount of damage that Enhanced and Hunter bring alone, backing that up with a Discipline Priest that does have the offensive penance that can be used at that point as well. I do think that, in my opinion, Taco and the Reeds could potentially take this.
I definitely like having the Priest over the Resto Druid in this matchup. Again, Idiot's team has been doing really well in matchups where Idiot can do damage, but I don't think, from the damage we've seen Taco and the Reeds do earlier in this tournament, I don't think Idiot's going to have any time to sit in cat form and pump out those shreds. So I definitely think that Taco and the Reeds has a comp advantage with that Disc Priest. That isn't to say that Team Idiot's team is completely screwed in this matchup, but I definitely think having that Priest is a bit more conducive to how this matchup will likely to be played out.
Yeah, I think that it's going to allow it's going to allow Taco and the Reels in this potential mirror matchup, might I add, to be more of the aggressors than the Myself and Idiot, because I think that the Idiot is going to have to, Idiot, shall I say, he's going to have to play a lot more defensively. I think he's going to be healing a ton more than he's been doing in previous games, because the amount of damage that Taco and the Reels can do. We've been surprised out of every series that they've done and faced. The amount of damage that they've been dealing has been winning them the games. When we see them facing up against Zara Larson Fan Club, everyone was vouching for Zara Larson, adamant that they was going to win that series. But Taco and the Reels, they 2-0'd them with that damage, So I don't think that Idiot could spend a lot of time in cat form. So I don't know how they're going to go about this. It's literally, I believe it's going to be like healers stood at the back PvEing as much as possible whilst the melee are doing as much damage as they can, realistically. And then it'll be a clutch moment where the healers come in and do some damage to score a kill. I can't really see Idiot being very aggressive. But what we're going to do now, guys, we're going to get into this game within the next 1.5 minutes, I do believe. Both teams are ready now. We're just jumping over onto an opposite faction again because of the teams being Horde teams. We just found this out just now, so we're just jumping over to the Horde side. Okay. So guys, what I'm going to have to do at this point in time is we're going to go to a quick interlude. We're just going to play a little bit of music to you guys because I personally have to figure out some stuff. Something just arose that is up to that concerns me. So I'm going to have to go and figure that out real quick. But we're not going to be more than 3 minutes before this game gets on, I'm sure of it. So we're just going to put you guys in some music real quick. So we'll stay tuned. Maybe go take a break, a drink break or whatever, and come back because the games will be happening really, really soon. So see you guys real soon.
brother man built. It's the brother.
Let's make this last forever, an eternity. Take me with you, I'll surrender. I wait, I hesitate. My mind is made up, and now it's time to wake up. It's late, but I can't stop anymore. We got I need you.
Welcome back, guys. We're going into this final series. We're going to have 2 best-of-5 series starting off fresh. Once again, if Taco and the Reeds wins this best-of-5, then they will be the winners of this tournament. But if Me, Myself, and Idiot wins this best-of-5, then we'll be playing another best-of-5 series to determine the tournament winner.
Yes, I really like the format. I think it's a very interesting format. And I've not seen this format before, but I think it's well thought through and it's very, very fair for both teams at this point. So I'm pretty happy with it. But the gates are about to open, and it is going to be the Beast Cleave Mirror, but one with a Resto Druid, just as we was talking about. So let's see how this is going to pan out.
Yeah, I'm going to see if Idiot's able to get any sort of damage. He does this Splicer Beast in. I think he's trying to get some points. He does actually get a stealth off. And I don't know if he can afford to be sitting in cat form for too long during this matchup. That's one of the things we talked about pre-game, is whether or not Idiot's going to be able to do any sort of damage. It looks like Brackets Are Bad, looking to run at Idiot and try to do some damage. Unfortunately, a trap comes out from Ezron, but it did land on the Brackets Are Bad instead of Johnny Bravo. But Outgun is just taking so much damage, and actually is just going to go down. That was really weird. Johnny Bravo wasn't in any sort of CC. He might have taken a wind shear from Small Cranium, but I do think maybe there's some miscommunication. It didn't seem like they're in any sort of position to die right there. Perhaps Brackets Are Bad was supposed to be off healing, but that game actually going really quickly for Me, Myself, and Idiot.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised with that. I really am. I was expecting, looking at these frames, that Brackets Are Bad, that he was going to toss out some off heals, but none actually came through for him. So it definitely was a miscommunication there, because if his healer was saying, I'm in trouble, you're going to have to heal, he would have put out them heals. They wouldn't be in the finals if they was the kind of players that didn't know how and when to off heal, So it had to be a miscommunication on their part. But yeah, we are right. Me, myself, and Idiot are 1 game up in this series, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I think I did see, again, the enhancement shaman on Taco and the Reeds did try to connect on the Idiot. I'm not sure if I agree with that. It seemed like a waste of time trying to connect on that rest druid. Idiot was able to just displace her beast away. And in that time, Ezeron and, I'm sorry, me, myself, and Idiots, Ezeron and, the enhancement shaman, for me, myself, and Idiot, just did so much damage to the enhancement shaman for Taco and the Reeds, dropping him down quite low. I'm sorry, was it the hunter and the enhancement shaman? I forget who died.
It was the hunter who died there. It was Fancy who went down on that hunter. Outplayed went down first of all. But what you have to note as well at that point, when the enhancement shaman from Taco's team was trying to connect onto Idiot, that he did displace, and he also threw that into a war stomp that came out onto the priest of Taco and the Reeds. So that was a really, really well placed war stomp and well placed displacer to actually get yourself into that position. He baited Bracket so bad all the way across the arena to just displace and land that stomp, which I think caught his trinket, and then he got hit by a full trap towards the end, and Outgun did drop. But we're back into this next game right here. With me, myself, and Idiots 1 game up, but this is a best of 5, so it's nowhere near over. Taco and the Reach do have time to recover this and bring this series back into their advantage. So, I don't know, Blaze Edge Arena, this kind of plays into the favor for Idiot in my eyes, because I do think there's a lot of line of sight that can be used here, and the way that me, myself, and Idiot are playing right now, they're playing exceptionally well, so I do think they're going to be able to utilize the actual y-axis, that this brings, that this arena brings.
I do think this matchup is going to be played on top of the bridge. It looks like both teams are deciding to do that. I don't see any reason for them to play below. Brackets of Bad getting rooted early up by Idiot. Idiot's just standing in the back, playing a bit conservatively, throwing off some off heals, throwing in, I think, some Moonfires in there every now and then. A full trap actually on a Brackets of Bad. Again, I don't know if Ezeron's intending to trap Brackets of Bad. That's the second time where he's missed his trap on a Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, but that did get trinketed by Bracket so bad, and Outgun was dipping down really low here. Small Cranium and Ezeron are in a lot of trouble. Off heals coming out now by Small Cranium. Ezeron's not in a good state right here. He's dropping down low below. He went down to 50%. There's 17% now. 500 HP left, and he does go down. Taco and the Reeds taking this game back. Really well played by them. I think they managed to get a shear out on Idiot at the end there. But it doesn't look like they're giving up at this point. Small Cranium is going down really low. He needs to be off-healing himself to give Idiot some time to pick him back up. Full trap coming out into Idiot, and Small Cranium goes down as well. They was going to try and push for that 2v3, because I did see Idiot trying to rack up them combo points to get a potential big bite out. But it wasn't enough. He should have been healing a little earlier, I do think there. That is it, guys. It's 1-1. This can go either way. Both teams playing this Beast Cleave composition, and it's so bursty. It's so much different for either team to any comps that they previously faced within this tournament. They've not faced another comp other than this one right now, where the enemy team has got as much burst damage against them. But now they're going head-to-head in this mirror composition with the biggest bursting team compositions in this arena tournament today. Well, it's looking like the whole dynamics are changing around here, and people are trying to re-feel out these comps and try and figure out the best strategies and how to handle these games against each other. It's pretty interesting stuff, and I'm really wondering at this point, it's 50-50 in my mind, who's actually going to be able to take this whole series.
Well, yeah, I'm just confused because these matchups are going so weird, but in both these games, Ezeron, I think, missing his trap. But at the same time, his team is nearly just capitalizing almost on the mistrapped and just doing straight up damage to Outgunned, dropping him despite missing that trap. I know it can be quite difficult because there's no, traps are easy to land when the target stands still, but there's nothing really to keep Johnny Bravo in place other than a a root from disengage if he is playing with that talent. So I'm curious to see what talents Ezreon is running. He is running with post haste, outgun running with narrow escape. I think narrow escape is a smarter decision. Maybe not necessarily against a resto druid, but I do think it would be smarter if Ezreon were to play with that narrow escape to make it easier to trap Johnny Bravo.
For sure. I do think that it would be better as well in this instance, but we'll have to see how this game pans out, and then we'll see which is the better choice of talent as we go into this game on Blades Edge Arena. Same arena as we faced last game, and it was a quick game, so let's see what happens. As we can see here, we've got Outgun doing a ton of damage now, putting that damage out onto Ezreon right here. Ezreon taking a bit of damage, so is Outgun. Outgun's dropping below 50%, 20%. Shield comes up now. Frost Shot comes out. The narrow escape does get out there, but it does get dispelled. Outgun did eat that trap, though, for Johnny Bravo. Insane plays there, but he's still low. He's still in a lot of trouble. And Storm Strike's going to come up very, very soon. He does come out there. Ezreon's dropping really low as well. On the counterpart, 8%. Idiot's having a hard time picking him up, and he was in cat form at that point when he was down. But both hunters go down. It is a cross kill. It is a 2v2. Once again, enhancement. Resto Druid versus Disc Priest. Enhancement Shaman. We've seen this before, and me, myself, and Idiot, they did take this in the past. Can they do it once again? I don't know, guys. I don't know how this is going to go out, but if it's going to happen anything like it happened last time, they're going to be able to score a kill here onto the enhancement Shaman with a big bite on Team Taco and the Reets. But I don't know, Moran, talk me through it. How do you think this is going to play out?
Again, once Idiot's able to get any sort of points, I really think that's where he's going to shine. It looks like Small Cranium is doing a lot of damage onto Johnny Bravo. I agree with that. Idiot now choosing to go cat form once Small Cranium is picked up a bit. Actually doing some damage on a Brackets of Bad, who did drop really low, getting bear form rooted by Idiot there. He's actually forced to use Healing Surge on himself, and that's not a good position to be in. I think whatever Enhancement Shaman is forced to heal less is the Enhancement Shaman that's going to win. Because I think really damage is what's going to build momentum and lead to a kill in this sort of setting. Again, I do think Idiot should be trying his best to get his combo points, and right now is a perfect opportunity. Yeah,
Bracket So Bad was dipping out really low there, but Johnny Bravo's managed to good play there, and no wind shear came out there from Small Cranium to deny them heals. Double War Stomp coming out now by Idiot. He's in cat form, looking to go for the damage. Penance comes out by Johnny Bravo. The shear is available for Small Cranium. He does deny that cast by Johnny Bravo, and the Shaman goes down. Insane plays. Bracket So Bad did go down there with that cat form bite and that wind shear from Small Cranium. We said it was going to happen. That's the way it had to go, and that's the way it panned out. Really, really well played by there by me, myself, and Idiot. Very scripted how that had to go, and it did go that way. Me, myself, and Idiot recognized the only way they could score a kill there, because in the dampening, as that would kick in, I think they would lean in the favor of the Priest Resto Shaman composition. But as we just seen, they managed to get a nice setup there with the interrupt on that flash heal. Big bite. Storm Strike, dead. Fantastic plays there for me, myself, and Idiot. 2-1.
Yeah, that was really excellent play. Really good wild charge by Idiot. Wild charging into a War Stomp, following his wild charge with a War Stomp onto the healer, and then using his Ferocious Bite. So really good line of globals being used by Idiot. And again, I think in that 2v2, specifically Idiot's damage is what will determine who's gonna come out the winner. But these games, the damage just happens so quick on both teams. It's such a back and forth, and that's why we're able to get these cross kills, is because of how just quickly targets die.
Yeah, for sure. It's so bursty, Moran. It's so bursty. I don't know how these healers are managing to deal with this amount of damage and maintain this level of aggression as well. They're doing a great job by both teams, but it's just looking like at this point that me, myself, and Idiot, because they've got that Resto Druid, they're just using that damage, that bite damage. It's really playing a huge factor for them when they're landing these traps to score these kills. Although in that last game it was a cross kill, I do think as far as it goes with the level of aggression, the favor is going to run for me, myself, and Idiot. But then again, Taco and the Reets, great team. They got into the finals undefeated, so I don't think they're going to go down very easily without giving a good fight.
Yeah, definitely. And again, we're playing potentially two best of 5 series in this first series. If Idiot's team wins this next game, they'll be moving on to a fresh best of 5. So Taco and the Reets need to just win 2 games really quickly, and they can end this tournament here and now. But for the meantime, in this first best of 5 series, me, myself, and Idiot are up 2 games the single game from for Taco and the Reeds.
Well, right now we're just waiting on getting the next queue and getting into the next game. I'm not sure exactly what's going on behind the scenes here, but it's looking like that we've not got the queue just yet. So there might be a little bit of a technical difficulties or something like that. But do remember, in this tournament, each team between games, they can opt to have a 2-minute break so they can talk tactics. So it may be that one of the teams has decided, right, we need to have a quick tactic talk here. We've got 2 minutes, let's go. So that is potentially most realistically what we're waiting on right here now, guys. So just bear with us. We're going to get into this game real soon, for sure. I don't know, guys. Who do you guys want to win? Chat, you tell me, who do you guys want to win? Maybe Moran. Is it time for another straw poll? Is it? Final straw poll?
I think it is. It's always time. I'm actually gonna have to step away momentarily, so I'll be right back. But if the teams are ready, you can just queue them up.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So we've got the straw poll that's going to be going on here. So it is Taco and the Reeds. Let me just type this out real quick. Reeds versus, I keep forgetting the team names. Me, myself, and Idiot. Me, myself, and Idiot. So I'm gonna. I think someone else has already made a straw poll and beat me to it. Let me just check this out real quick. Yeah, that guy's already done it, but that's an unofficial straw poll there, guys. So don't click that link. No, I'm joking. You can click that link if you like. It doesn't matter. It serves the same purpose, but it does look like, guys, we are in the queue and we have got a pop, and it's going to be Blades Edge Arena once again. I'm really surprised at how often that this, on a random generated map choice, that this has actually come up. And I do believe that Moran right now, he's not actually with me, so I'll be taking you guys through this game up until we can see a return from Moran. I don't know why in the finals he decides to go AFK, but it's fine. I can handle you guys, and I think that you're gonna be able to handle me.
All right, I'm back. I see we've gone into this game.
Yes, we have, and there's 6 seconds left on the clock. Okay, let me see. The gates are just about to open, so let's see who is going to reign victorious in this game. Right now, we've got Outgun who's pushing over the center of the bridge now, putting out some damage there onto Ezeron, who's still on his mount. Ezeron dipping down below 80%, but he is stabilizing that. Idiot is getting them hots out. Hard swap coming out onto Outgun, then he looks like he's going to go down. He goes down in the opener. Insane damage by Small Crane and Ezeron. That was just a hard swap. I think the wind shear came out there onto Johnny Bravo, denying the potential shield onto him, and he just got a huge connection with that frost shock, enabling to, disabling him from getting away through kiting, and that was just insane. Wow, me, myself, and Idiot are reigning supreme, guys, this game. Holy crap, this is amazing. I'm so shocked to see this Resto Druid Mirror actually winning more games than losing. I'm so surprised, but it's very impressive. So right now, guys, it looks like me, myself, and Idiot are 3-1. And because this is a best of 5, that means me, myself, and Idiot are going to take this first series, which means we are going to have to go into a second series to decide who is going to win the whole tournament. So if we could just quickly take a look at the brackets right now, as you can see, me, myself, and Idiot, they did win 3-1, and they have been put through into a further finals to decide who tonight's victors are going to be. Guys, I'm stoked about this. I'm super stoked. Moran, what do you think about this? Did you expect this to happen? Losers bracket?
No.
Come through like this?
No, right. And I mentioned that I do think the priest comp is stronger. At least, on paper, it would be stronger. But me, myself, and Idiot's team just seems to do so much damage. Way more damage than Taco and the Reeds. I don't know. I don't think that can be too much. Like, dude, I know there are some gear differences between each team. Ezron opting to play with a bit less HP than Fancy, but it doesn't seem like that big enough to justify how much pressure it seems like me, myself, and Idiot's team is able to do in the opener in all these matchups.
For sure. And what you have to notice as well, Moran, in that last matchup was that Idiot himself, the Resto Druid, he didn't go cat farm and do any damage. That was solely the damage of Ezeron and the enhancement shaman of that team. So, it's not like that it wasn't damage that the other team could counter pressure with at the same time, because they have the hunter and the enhancement shaman. So what does this mean? How is this happening? It's just crazy to see the damage difference. I think I don't even know how to justify it. I really don't, Moran. There's no paper reason, textbook reason as to why it would seem this way.
Because I don't think Idiot's really contributing to much damage in these early stages of the game. I mean, it seems just pre-hot, and that's about it. And at least that's what he did last game. And in that time, like again, Fancy just went 100-0. It would have seemed like in like less than 3 seconds. So it's a bit of I'm still kind of baffled at how these matches are playing out. And so, sorry, we have to relog really quickly to continue this series. So we're going to be logging on to Horde, I believe. So just a little bit.
Yeah, we've got this stuff sorted out now, guys. On the spectator side thing, because bear in mind that Taco and the Reese, I do believe they are an Australian team, and me, myself, and Idiot, they are an East Coast US team. So it's pretty hard to find a server which kind of complements both teams on the latency side of things. So we've had a little bit of difficulties at the moment trying to find that neutral balance. But what we're trying out now in this second series is, I believe we're going to be alternating between Australian and US servers, or maybe finding a different server. But in regards to whatever's happening, we are. But regardless, we are going to find a way to make this the most balanced that we can. And I think that we're going to be staying on Oceanic. I'm not too sure, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, we try to make this environment as fair to the players as possible, because I don't know if you guys knew this, but the Earth is round. It's quite large, and so electricity has a long way to travel in between Australia and the East Coast United States. So depending on where the servers or the games are being hosted, it's going to impact, or it's going to benefit one team and harm another team. So we're just trying to make this as fair as possible in this series.
Yeah, for sure. But I do believe that all of the games was actually hosted on US realms in the last Best of 5 series, but now they're going to change it around and play all of these on Oceanic realms. So to make it fair, each series has been hosted on either side of the water there. So to get this as balanced as possible, that's the way it's going to be. But it does look like that the queue is up, and we're going to be jumping straight into the Grand Arena. As far as it's looking, it doesn't look like there's going to be any compositional changes at all from either team. And I think that is a wise decision.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that.
They had.